Doom, 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 doom. 3, 2, 1. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we got a sweet show today. Cameron Haynes is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Cameron Haynes.
What's up?
What's up, brother? Scott motherfucking Eastwood is in the house. And if you can't see me, it's because I'm wearing this sweet Under Armour camo shirt, and I do tend to blend into the background. So if you get confused and go, why is Joe's head just floating in the air like that?
But if you could see it, you'd notice you look jacked in it.
Jacked, right?
It's tight.
Sexy as
it's
fuck.
form-fitting.
Dude, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
It's a floating head.
So Cam's in town. We were shooting bows today, and I know he gave you a bow yesterday.
Yeah. We went down to Riverside Archery, and to check out. He's throw me a bow. So that was cool.
You had an old bow. We had an upgrade, didn't we?
Yeah.
What was your old bow?
It was an old Ross. It was like
Ross.
Probably from
like Ross Dress for Less.
Yeah.
Same company?
No.
I didn't ever heard. Is Ross an archery company? A big archery company?
No, it's small. Yeah.
Small.
I don't know. I'm not even sure if they still.
They probably don't make them anymore. This was like a secondhand bow I bought off somebody years ago.
So is this something you wanted to do for a while, and somehow or another you got a hold of Cam?
I don't remember how we got connected. It was like through Instagram.
He likes to say I slid him a DM.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's all like going down in the DMs.
Some desperate girl. But I think. I mean, I always put up hunting stuff, obviously, and I think you commented maybe or something.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like an unsolicited DM. Hey, I'd like to get to know you a little better. But I think it was.
Which would have been okay too, if you know.
It's all good. I mean, it's 2017. Everybody's free to express themselves in the way they feel.
Yeah. So it's something like that built on, and then we just started archery or talking archery, then hunting, and he grew up and has hunted and had the bow, and so he got done with his movie stuff and was here and thought, hey, let's get together.
Yeah. Also the public land stuff too. I been noticing you guys both been talking about that, and so I was really interested in that. So I started reading up about it and I just said, hey, how can I help? How can I get involved? Because this, means a lot to me. I'm a native Californian, and I grew up going to Yosemite, going hunting, going fishing, using the public lands. And so it was really important to me. My dad was a state parks commissioner. Most people don't know that. So
when was this? What point in his life?
This was got to be when
before he was the mayor.
No,
Carmel.
No, after.
Really?
Yeah, this was after.
So fairly recently then.
Yeah, probably in the last, I would say, 15 years.
Wow.
I mean, I know he did it for a while and then got out. But he was big in the do you remember the toll road going through the San Clemente?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, so they were proposing this was when Arnold Schwarzenegger was in office, and they were proposing a toll road to go through San Clemente, which goes through Trestles, which is a popular surf break, and he was, everyone, got behind it. Surf Rider Foundation, they didn't want it because it was going to destroy the wave and ultimately destroy the national park there, and so he was big on that kind of stuff, and so I've always been, sort of following his footsteps, saying, hey, we gotta get in front of this problem.
Dude, your dad's Clint Eastwood. That's
that
so
true.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That is so crazy. What is it like having Clint Eastwood as a dad? Like, what's your dad do? My dad is Clint Eastwood, bitch. People would just be like, oh, shit. They just walk away, confused. Like, what happened to me? I just got hit with a rock. I mean, and you look like him, man. It's weird. Like, when I'm looking at you, I see your dad, like, from the old Outlaw Josie Wales days.
Yeah. It's what's crazy is looking at photos of him when he was 12 and I was 12. You cannot tell the difference. You put them both in black and white, you can't tell the difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a trip.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up with him as a dad? When did you realize, like, holy shit?
I think I realized, I'm 31, so I probably realized when I was about 8. I watched Unforgiven.
Oh.
Yeah.
He let you watch that when you were 8? That's my favorite Clint Eastwood movie ever.
Yeah.
Well, there's High Plains Drifters right up there, too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. It's hard to lock them down.
Sure.
But The Unforgiven's a dark movie, man.
Yeah, it's dark.
William Money.
Killer
of women and children. Ooh, that's a dark movie, man.
We all got it coming.
Yeah.
That's what he says in that one. I love that.
It was like probably one of the most realistic killers too. Like the way he handled stuff and the way everybody else was like falling apart. Like,
Yeah.
you never saw that in those movies.
Well, it was about regret. It was about a life filled of regret and filled with, things that you did wrong that you wish you could have, done better. And, it was sort of one last ride to, to do something better for his kids. So I think that was sort of interesting. It was sort of a final culmination of all his Westerns.
It really was. And almost like he updated them all too.
Yeah.
Because like in the old movies, like you'd have cowards and you'd have heroes and stuff like that. But in The Unforgiven, he took it to a totally different level, like psychologically. You know, like even the way the switch goes off when he starts drinking and then he starts just fucking murking everybody. Like the way it was handled, it seemed so realistic.
Yeah.
With the way everybody would fall apart and gunfights and the way...
I got to watch that again now. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, this sounds awesome.
It's fucking great. It's a fucking great movie. I remember seeing it. I remember the movie. I went to see it in the movie theater, and when the credits rolled at the end, I just went like this. Whoa.
Yeah, powerful one.
Woo! Yeah, it's an intense movie, man. Fucking intense. So when you're 8, you figured it out? Like that movie?
Right around then, yeah. I remember watching it. I'm not sure if I watched it with him or shortly after he made it. And just thinking, that is the coolest thing, and I want to do that. I want to be in movies. I want to tell stories like that.
Wow.
So how many? And you have brothers and sisters, and so how did all that work?
Yeah, I've got a few sisters. My dad was a busy guy.
How many kids in the family?
How
many wives?
Yeah, let's just go with that. He's only had 2 wives, but he's had a few girlfriends, a few different babies, mamas. Yeah.
So did you live with him?
I did.
Yeah.
I would bounce back and forth. I lived with my mom. I lived with my mom in California until I was about 7 or 8, and then I lived. Then she moved. She packed up. This was kind of around the time when they split.
Was your mom an actress too?
No. She was just a normal person. Yeah, flight attendant. She had 2 kids with my dad, and she packed up. I think when they sort of split, and she moved to Hawaii. She had lived there when she was a lot younger, and so she had always loved Hawaii. And so I had gone to Hawaii to live probably from about 8 to about 16.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I ultimately moved back with my dad for the last couple years of high school. And so yeah, it was an interesting upbringing, right? I mean, one hand I was with my dad for some time, and one hand I was in Hawaii, living there. And I don't know if you know anything about Hawaii as a white boy growing up. You're the minority.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fist fights.
Did you show up with a Howley T-shirt on? Howley's Rule.
Pretty much. I mean, that's a lot of people don't realize that it's pretty. Hawaii's very from like a warrior society still, and that's a great thing, kind of, because it's very primal, and it's also sort of it's one of those things where there's not a lot of tolerance for someone that you don't know or part of your family, and. So for me it was tough. It was.
Did they accept you eventually?
Sports really bridged that gap. Football. I played football, and that really it was tough because the first year they were like, no, they were like, get the fuck out of here.
That had to suck.
Yeah, I was a kid then. I was probably I don't know. I can't remember 10 or so playing pee wee football, right?
Right.
And then as I would prove myself that I was down for hard work and down to throw hits, that that sort of bridged the gap, and then ultimately they were part of my team, and then so we would go to other schools and play other schools, and then I was still the Howley boy to everybody else, but they had my back now. So that was cool.
That had to be a bizarre time, man, to be a 10-year-old and all of a sudden be in that environment.
Sure. That was it was different. It was I didn't know any better because I'm 10 and going, okay, well, this is what I got to deal with now. These are the cards I got dealt, so either got to man up.
Yeah, I have a bunch of buddies who live in Hawaii, and they say that if you're respectful and you're not a douchebag, like after a while you just fit right in and everybody's cool with it.
Yeah, I mean it's I grew up also as a surfer. Growing up surfing, and so there's definitely a pecking order and a respect there that you have to learn, or you're going to learn the hard way. and that's, I think that was a good thing, you know, ultimately, because it kind of humbles you, and makes you know your place, which is good.
Did you start training jiu-jitsu there?
I started, you know, actually, one of my good buddies who passed away, Paul Walker, got me into jiu-jitsu. He got me about 6 years ago, maybe more now.
Yeah, he was like a purple belt, right, or a brown belt or something.
Yeah, he was a brown belt when he died. And so yeah, he was, I mean, he was, you know, diehard. I mean, he had a place in Hawaii actually, and he had he would go get mats, and he would get his place outfitted so he could practice at home.
Oh wow.
And he got me involved, and that's, you know, that's another thing that's great about over there, is like you really realize, like, obviously, you know, jits is like the ultimate humbling.
Yeah.
You know, for people, especially for, you know, I think for men that carry a lot of ego around, or carry a lot of, you know, I think as men we're trying to figure out who we are, especially when we're young. It really calms your ego down, because you always know, you know, I'm going to choke some people out, and people are going to choke me out.
Yeah.
And it's just no matter what level you're at.
You also get it out of your system. Like the
Sure.
a big part of what men do, they puff their chest up, is they want to prove themselves, and they haven't yet.
Yep.
And they don't know, and so they want to like put up this air like there's some bad motherfucker, because they're insecure. It's
Of course.
just they don't know. And
Yeah.
once you've done it a bunch of times, and you know, trained for a few years, it all calms down.
Yeah, you notice like all the you know, guys who do it consistently, or the high level guys, just so calm.
Yeah.
So calm. And that's actually one thing I noticed about Cameron too. He's a calm motherfucker, because he spends a lot of time out in the wilderness, and I think that has a big, you know, with the world we live in now today.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah, and we talked about this, some of the experiences, the stressful experiences, and the hard. I mean, life here is never hard, really. The challenges we face in the regular everyday
Sometimes
world.
you have traffic, dude. Sometimes the line at Starbucks is huge.
I know that. Okay, that's hard. Okay,
Sometimes
aside
they
from
spell your
that,
name
is
wrong.
tough.
They spell
Frappuccino.
Cam with a K.
right? But so I mean, it puts it in perspective. It's just kind of like what you're saying. But yeah, you need experiences like that. Just you kind of simulate those in training, or in, you know, the hunts that I do, or the races that I do, and it keeps it in perspective, so you don't get wound up over the little stuff. It's like no biggie. But
There's also like there's a humbling just being in the woods.
yeah,
You just realize like, oh, this doesn't matter if I never existed.
No.
Like if human beings were never invented, these woods would be exactly like this.
no, and that I've thought about that a
Exactly.
lot. Well, I've been in the mountains, and you know, I'd say if something happens, if you know, who knows, you die for whatever reason, nothing there changes an iota.
yeah.
I mean, nothing is going to, so it's like your existence doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
And I think we feel too self-important sometimes. I think some people do.
Sure.
And so in that situation, you're like, okay, I'm, you know, nothing really.
My friend Ryan Callahan, you know, Ryan from First Light.
Yeah.
He was out in the woods with two friends of his, and they work for the park. They work like rangers or something, and they found a human skull, and they're like, whoa, and it just puts it all in perspective. Like you're
Yeah.
out deep in the backcountry, and you find a human skull, and it's just like, okay, yeah, this is real. Like
Right.
this was a person. Something went wrong.
Yeah.
And they just
And now here they
never
are.
found them, and you know, it just happens.
Could be a bear, could be a cat, could be a trip.
Lightning.
Yeah.
I mean, lightning happens a lot to people
Oh
up
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But
I was telling you the other day, Cameron, about I've been doing a lot of reading about like circadian rhythms in our body, because I've had chronic sleepwalking, chronic night terrors since I was a little kid.
What is night terrors? What's the difference between night terrors and sleepwalking?
I don't know. I mean, I've had both. So
What is the night terrors?
a night terror would be, you know, sort of you wake up in the middle of the night, you know, to a scream, yelling.
Oh, that's
you know,
every day for me.
No, you know, get
That's my
out
life.
in the middle of that's a bad dream. And they can sort of, I think they can coincide with sleepwalking, probably, you know.
So stress related.
I think so. It's hard to say. I got him when I was young. When I started getting him, I think when I was about in 6th grade. So I don't know if it was stress related or what it was. But I started getting them, and then you know, I've had them, and I'm 31 now, and So I've been reading a lot about that, and I obviously listen to your podcast a lot about just about the way humans are supposed to operate in the natural life cycle, right? And you wake up in the morning because it gets light, and you go to bed because it gets dark, and we're screwing that all up with the TVs and the phones and all the stuff. And anytime I've ever been in the wilderness, I do a lot of backpacking and been on a lot of hunting trips and fishing and stuff. It really calms my body down a lot. And what they said was, in all the reading I've done, is that your creation of melatonin is in your optics because of like the assimilation of light. So when it gets dark, your mind's supposed to create more melatonin, which obviously puts you to sleep. But because we don't have that, or we're manipulating that, it's changed everything.
That's why they invented Ambien.
Yeah, works great.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are taking pills that just knock them out.
Yeah.
Just in order to deal with the fact that we're constantly surrounded by lights and staring at your phone before you go to bed and watching TV and go to the bathroom and the light's bright. Your body doesn't know what that is.
No. And that's when we were talking about this yesterday. It's like I said, I've never been more at peace and relaxed and slept as well as I have in the mountains. Once there's an adjustment period, it seems like.
Sure.
But once I'm there, it's just like I've never been. I don't want to make it sound like anything bad at home, but I mean, I've never been more. I don't know if it's happy or just more
content.
Content. That's exactly right. More content
than
I am in the mountains. It feels like that's just natural. That's how it's supposed to be.
Well, people really are supposed to interface with the wild, with the wilderness, the same way all animals are. We've just created these weird structures over the past few thousand years. When you really think about civilization, we only figured out how to talk 40,000 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean,
or the wheel, right? The wheel was,
Yeah, I think the wheel is
5,000.
It's a little longer than that. It's somewhere around 6,000 years ago they figured out the wheel, which is just hilarious. Wait, here's the best way to put that in perspective. Like, so let's say it's 5,500 years ago. That's essentially a person lives to be 100. That's 55 people ago. 55 people ago, they were just dragging shit around.
That's insane.
That's insane.
Yeah.
55 people ago. And then before that, you just go back a few more people, and they were grunting.
Yeah.
I mean, they hadn't even figured out how to write things down. It's really nuts.
Or even, what's even crazier to think about is how we've taken airplanes and perfected that in the last 50 years.
Oh, yeah.
Before that, it was, you couldn't just get on an airplane and be anywhere in the world in 24 hours.
Oh, yeah. It's a totally new experience. 1903. You want to hear the craziest fucking statistics ever?
Okay.
Between the time the plane was invented, between the invention of the airplane and someone dropping an atomic bomb out of the airplane, it was less than 50 years.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's crazy what we do to each other.
I know.
It was like somewhere like 44 years or something like that. Between the invention of the airplane by the Wright brothers, the first flight, and then a bomb dropping on Hiroshima.
Yeah. And then now there's Fast and Furious 8, and they got bombs in that.
Oh, I like this
we got
segue. Look at the
got
segue.
Nice plug there. Jeez,
Dude,
that was good.
Bro, you should be a publicist.
No, it's totally unrelated. Just thought of that.
How many of those have you done?
No, this is the first one that I've done.
This is the first one.
Yeah, this is the 8th. This will be the 8th one.
And they're going to do 10, right? So they're doing them back to back. Is that what they're doing?
I think that's the plan. I'm not. I'm sure Vin Diesel and the producers have the plan set. But I mean, that's the whispers I hear that we do a couple more. I think 10 would be cool. If you made it this far, might as well go to 10, right?
Now, can you tell us? Does your character survive? Can you give us a spoiler alert? Are you allowed to?
I saw the movie.
You can tell me then. You're not obligated. You didn't have to sign anything, did you?
It was good last night. I mean, Scott had a big role. It was cool because I didn't know. You never know.
Yeah,
it's just
sure.
like didn't ask, didn't anything. But yeah, he's all over it the whole time. So it was cool. He did a good job.
Let's just say it's a good one, and everyone will like it.
Are you a muscle car guy? Do you like muscle cars?
Yeah, I'm a classic car guy. I like classics. I love the old '60s Ferrari between Ferrari and Ford. That whole rivalry back then. So
the GTs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm actually getting the opportunity to purchase one of the new GTs coming out in 2017.
Really? Dude,
Yeah.
that thing looks insane.
Insane. And they're making only 100 this year.
What a bunch of cunts. Why would you only make 100? Why would you
so
make
excited about it.
100.
Why would you make 100? There's
What?
7 billion people. You're going to make 100 cars? Assholes.
They're collectibles.
Well, what? So, I mean, how much do they charge for those? For $100, for 100 of them? I mean,
I think the price is about $350.
$350,000.
Yeah. But
Pull
it's
up a
collectible.
picture of this
It's a
fucking
collectible.
thing. It's a beast. Look at that thing.
Yeah.
That's the
oh
new
my
one.
God.
Yeah.
Insanity.
Yeah.
Configurator. You can config. Why are they letting you configure it if you can't even fucking buy it? Just a bunch of teases, Ford. What are you doing? First of all, that doesn't even look like a Ford. I mean,
No,
that looks
it's
like
like
a
a
Ford on planet Mars.
It's pretty
Jamie's
cool, right?
changing the color. Look
It
at
looks
you.
kind of like a
yeah.
Ferrari, doesn't
Jamie's
it?
getting crap. It
Does
looks
it?
better than a Ferrari.
Oh, it looks better. I think it's,
That's a
it's better than
badass looking
Ferrari.
car.
Yeah.
God.
Let me see if you got some other angles on it. Is there any other angles? Ooh, look at that. Ooh, pretty.
You know,
I
it
like
look
the
good.
hood. Oh
Some-
my God.
Some
Look at
camo on there. Hey, is there camo
some
option there?
Ridge Reaper option. Look at that fucking car.
I know.
Oh my God, what a beast.
Yeah, I think I might get one too, actually.
Wow. Go for it, dude.
Go for it.
Get rid of
just
the Ram.
My whole life of salary, but that's all right.
$350,000. But meanwhile, the way they're making cars today, that thing's got to be insane.
Yeah.
But that'll be like a piece of art, you know.
Yeah.
That will be, you know, like the GT, you know, the older GTs that have gone up in value because they just don't, you know, they're
It's hard to say that about new cars, though. So much plastic and stuff. They just don't seem to. People don't want them. You know, like if you get a 1960s car, it's worth a shitload of money today. But
Sure.
a 1990s car ain't worth shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like there's no classics from 1990. There's a couple Porsches, like 964s from the 90s or 993s, the last of the air-cooled cars. They're still worth some money. They're classics. But that's kind of it. Like maybe a few classic Ferraris from that day, but like a Camaro from 1990, push that thing off a cliff and shoot at it while it's on its way down.
Hey, don't let your girl drive that car.
Yeah.
Oh, she got issues? We were saying before, she crashes things a little bit.
She's got a history of a long history. Let's leave it at that.
Hey, listen, people can't be great at everything.
No?
No.
That's true.
Have you seen the new Acura NSX?
No.
Jesus Christ. Look at this thing. Jamie, pull that up if you're into cars. You know, Acura built the last NSX in 2005. So there's like 12 years off before they came out with the new one. And they just came out with the new one this year. And it's just this spaceship. This monstrous spaceship. See if you can find a silver one.
So I like that
Look at
when they do that with cars. They sort of wait a long time to get, you know, come up with a whole new concept, not just every 3 or 4 years.
4-wheel drive. Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, I like it too. 4-wheel drive, electric wheels on the front.
It's tough looking at that one after the Ford, though.
It is. Well, that's not a good angle.
Yeah,
Jamie keeps
that
going to the
Ford's
same
looking
angle.
good.
What are
I
you
mean,
doing here with the Kelly
that's a
Blue
joke.
I
Book?
was hating on
Get
that
off this-
Ford, but I'm telling you.
No,
that's-
love that Ford. What are you talking about? Get off this site. The site's bullshit. They get you with that Kelly Blue Book
Oh, yeah,
bullshit.
that's a clickbait.
See if you can see like that 3/4 view in the upper left-hand side, right there. Nope. Yeah, look at that. It's a dope car, man.
Yeah.
When you see one in real life, it looks like a spaceship.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. It looks cool.
Cars today, man.
But that's like looking at a new Hoyt and looking at the Ross bow.
Really?
See?
You think that? You don't think that looks as cool?
That
as,
looks good, but not as good as a Ford, does it?
No.
Pretty close.
I don't know, dude.
Everybody's got different taste, Cam Haynes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just can't wait for the self-driving because people just are terrible drivers. So let's just get on with that. We've figured that out. Everyone
But then
sucks.
what about these kind of cars?
Well, that's fine. Just let them be self-driving. Or, you know,
That's not going to be self-driving. That would be ridiculous. Imagine if you have a car like that, like a Ford GT, but it's self-driving. Mm-hmm. Unless you're on a racetrack, you'd be like, "What am I going to live on a racetrack? This is so stupid." There's something happening as we're making things autonomous. We're going to lose a little bit of something.
sure,
Yeah.
sure.
It's sort of one of the reasons why people like handmade stuff now. Like you get a pair of handmade boots or something like that. It's like, ooh, it feels different. You know?
I got. Oh, these are handmade. Lucchese's.
Are they really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Lucchese's handmade. I
Those
think
were
they
mine
take like
yesterday.
18. No, it was maybe like 11 days to do from start to finish. with all the leathering and stuff they do. I mean, they do in different stages.
Right.
But they're the best boots on the market.
And doesn't that feel different? Like
Way
when you
better.
have them,
Oh, yeah.
like there's something
So
knowing that a
comfortable.
person made it too.
Yep.
Well, they're just so comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like
cowboy boots normally aren't that comfortable, but that's what my boots were yesterday too.
Yeah.
So nice.
I was reading this podcast. Reading a podcast? What? Listening to a podcast.
You're listening to a book. Oh wait, I guess you can do
You
that.
can do that now.
Never mind.
About horseback riding, and this guy was explaining how people try to wear like hiking boots when they go horseback riding, and they jam their foot. He's like, "There's a reason why cowboy boots fall off so easy.
Yeah.
It's so you don't get dragged behind a fucking horse.
Yeah.
like it's supposed to happen that way.
Yeah, that's why they're pointed, so they slide in and slide out.
They slide in and slide out, and they slip right off your feet.
Yeah.
Yep. And you get a good pair of these. I mean, they'll last 10, 20. I mean, it lasts a lifetime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They could.
I got the ones I had yesterday, which were like $1,000, and I just got them resold because I'd worn them so much. $74.50
to resell it.
Yeah, brand new soles on.
Boom.
I mean, brand new boot.
I've heard that since you have your own Under Armour sneaker, that you're the Kanye West of badasses. Is this true?
I don't know what that means. Well, no, Kanye West of bow hunting.
Oh, well, because Kanye West has Yeezys. Do you know what Yeezys are?
Yeah, his shoe. Right.
Yeah,
but
Jamie buys them. Look,
I don't even
think
know.
he's
you
got
have them
them.
on? You have them on, you son of a
got
bitch.
'em.
He's such a weirdo. He's got like 5 pairs of them, this weirdo.
So I don't even know what that
Hey,
Yeezy. That's what the kids are calling
Jamie,
it.
aren't those a
Yeezy.
lot? Like expensive?
Stupid expensive.
If you can't get them when they come on sale, they are a lot.
Like how much are they right out of the gate?
The ones that are going to resale that come out this month are reselling for $2,000 right now. They're $200 retail.
200 retail, and they sell for 2,000.
Yeah,
Because they make what 100 pair?
like 20,000 maybe.
Like that goddamn, you can get a free one with a Ford GT.
Yeah. So I think anyway, I think that's how Brandon's reference is tied in. It's Kanye's shoe.
Yes, that's what it is.
Right.
Yeah, it's not that you're an egotistical, autistic rapper. It's not that.
Well, I see him he was at the UFC fight. I don't know. I was
Kanye
there.
was?
Yeah. I don't know which one it was.
Oh,
but
yeah, that's right. He was there with the boyfriend that J-Lo dumped because he went to the UFC. It was one of Connor's fights.
Oh, was it?
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
The boyfriend wanted to go to the McGregor fight, and J-Lo was like, "Fuck that, bitch!
Oh.
She's staying with me."
Jamie got a picture with him.
Jeez.
Didn't
You
you?
got a
Right
picture
here-
with Kanye?
Yeah, here's I remember. But here's Kanye West, even at the UFC fight, just like this.
Well, I saw him smile a few times when he met some people.
Really?
Yeah, but he needs a hug.
I got him to smile.
Did you? What'd you do? Touch
No,
his
he
butt?
didn't smile. Not in your picture, did he?
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
What'd you do to get him to smile?
Where'd it go?
Well, he needs a hug. That's what I think. Needs a hug and some good friends. Someone to calm him down.
I think so. Yeah.
Settle down, dude. Let me talk to you about your prenup. You got one, right? That's what I would do. There he is. That is not smile.
That was a little smirk.
No, not really.
That's a
No,
Kanye smile.
that's not. You're just the smile from Tony Hinchcliffe is bouncing
know,
off. Plus,
right.
you didn't smile, so he was like, "Why am I fucking smiling if this dude isn't smiling? You're not even happy to meet me, you fuck. Why are you even taking a picture? Hashtag blessed."
At least he's got Tupac on his
Yes,
shirt.
he's got taste in
that's,
that regard.
That's the best thing about that, other than Jamie and Tony.
Yes, I agree. The Tupac shirt's a good move. It's a good move. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're, I don't know. The rapper world is a very fucking strange world. I can't even imagine. Can't even imagine.
No.
But
Hey, I did want to ask something. So, when you're growing up, was there pressure because your dad was Clint Eastwood? Did you? And then you said you wanted to be an actor. You knew. Was that? I know we're going back to it, but I was just
yeah, but
wondering.
it's a good question.
Well, I think I always wanted to be tell stories. I don't know if I necessarily knew I wanted to be an actor. I think as I get older, I realize it's more about telling stories. I just sort of fell into the acting. I was like, okay, well, this could be a way I could get in. I could go into that.
So you just enjoy the entertainment process, like creating something that people
Creating
can be
something.
entertained by and enjoy?
Yeah, exactly. Telling a story that people can relate to, laugh, cry, whatever.
Do you think you'll go the route of your dad and like maybe do some directing and writing
Yeah.
and things like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the
Yeah.
plan?
That's the plan. That's the plan. Taking control of your own career is good, and it's also you tell the stories you want to tell.
Yeah, we were talking about this before the podcast, that the world of the actor is very difficult. And a lot of people like accuse actors of being fake. And I think one of the reasons for that...
Narcissistic, mostly,
Yeah,
yeah.
but there's that for sure. But
Yeah.
one of the reasons for accusing them of being fake is that they always have to put on the best show, like as far as their behavior and the way they act and think and their opinions, because they're constantly trying to get cast in things. And it's all about getting to people to like you and politicking. And we were talking also about, like, you kind of have to have liberal sensibilities. Like in this town, if you're a
Does
right
that go
winger,
together? Does that even make sense? It seems like they contradict each other. Liberal sensibilities. That seems.
Well, it's one reason that I moved. I moved out of L.A. Is years ago. I got sick of. Yeah, there are great people in L.A. Great people, and I'm from California, so I feel has a place in my heart here. But I got out of L.A. because, if you meet 100 people in L.A., you might, meet 95 that are full of shit and 5 good ones. And I think
you're
that
too
was,
generous.
That's a problem, right? And everyone, I always judge it when I meet somebody and I'm having a conversation with them, and I ask how they're doing. If I meet an actor or something, how you been, or what are you working on? Cool. And a lot of times they're just waiting for their turn to talk.
Yeah.
They're not even listening to you.
Yeah.
They're just sort of they're not going to return that and say, what are you doing? What's going on?
Yeah, you don't feel like a sincere conversation.
No, not at all.
Yeah, that's a big issue with people in general. But in LA, I think this is the magnet for all the narcissists and all the people that want attention and the people that have a hole. They have a hole they need to fill up for whatever their childhood, whatever the fuck it is, and they gravitate here, and then they just communicate with each other the same way, and everybody kind of like pretends to be someone who they're not, and then hopefully they make it, and then once they make it, then they just become some fucking weirdo. Just it's weird how many of them are like almost like cookie cutter, like, oh, I've met that guy before, he just looked different. You know what I mean? It's like the same person living a different life. I know this. I know
someone
exactly
got
what this
lazy on
is.
the assembly line.
Yeah,
of people.
Yeah.
They fell asleep or something.
But the actor world is like, I've met a lot of comedians that are similar, but they vary so much. But the actors, boy, there's a lot that are super similar. Just a lot of, But then again, you'll meet some of them who've like figured it out and made it through, and they're super normal. And like Adam Sandler is one of the nicest guys you've ever met in your life.
Really?
Oh my God, he couldn't be nicer. Total. Like if you didn't know he was Adam Sandler and you met him, you'd be like, oh, it's someone's dad. Yep. Fucking super normal dude.
Yeah,
Tom Hanks.
He's right.
That's what I heard.
You said super normal. That's what people say, because they ask me, oh, how's Scott? Seems normal. So that's why you're like, so
you must not know me yet.
That's like the best compliment for an actor.
Yeah, it is, because an actor is like, I don't know. So who am I to say who's normal, right? But to me, he seems like a normal guy. And you said Adam Sandler was completely normal. So that's kind of puts it in perspective.
Yeah. What I mean by normal is like you could talk to them and they're really there. They're real sincere.
Present.
They're present. They're having a real conversation with you. And there's a lot of people that just don't do that. You talk to them and they're just putting on some, hey, how are you? Good to see you.
I definitely don't trust people who are too nice. I'm like, why are they so nice? Like this isn't right.
Yeah, sure.
It's just a tough world for these people anyway, especially with the ones that haven't made it out here. It's so psychologically devastating because you're constantly going on auditions and you're constantly getting rejected. So you're insecure in the first place, and then you are hoping someone likes you. So you go to this thing and you're kind of like putting on your best behavior and you're dressing good and like, hi, pleased to meet you. All right. Hey, thanks guys. Thanks for the opportunity. You leave and they don't like you. They're like, they said you sucked at the audition. What? I didn't suck. Yeah, they just really didn't like you. They said you didn't make eye contact. Fuck. And and people get weirder and weirder. And if you meet an actor, say like 1 year, and then you meet them 10 years later and they're still swinging and nothing's happening, they might be like almost ready to crack.
Yeah.
Like
right at the verge.
Right at that falling down with that Michael Douglas, when he's got the briefcase and he goes in traffic, starts shooting people.
Yeah.
Like they're like a couple of days before that. They're like
just on the breaking line.
They can't take it anymore. It's a fucking devastating business, right?
It's tough. But like I mean, we were talking about before. It's all built on hard work and your reputation. Yeah. Because, like you said, and you get a reputation for being an asshole or showing up late to work or this, that, and the other, and everyone's gonna know about it. It's a small place, LA.
Or being a diva. Divas,
Yeah.
that's a big one, right?
That's not a good adjective. For
You can't shake that one.
Yeah.
That happens to people. Like in Hollywood, they'll be doing a lot of big movies, and you hear like, "Oh, she's difficult to work with," and then they just fucking disappear.
Sure.
They just whoosh. And it almost seems like Hollywood delights in shutting those people out.
They're rooting for you to fail.
Yeah, they kind of. But when you prove to be like ungrateful in some way, or you don't like, here's a perfect example. Well, he kind of made it on television, but you remember David Caruso? When David Caruso was on NYPD Blue, everybody was like, "Wow, this guy's a great actor." And then he quit NYPD Blue when it was this massive hit show, and then went and started doing like some real shitty movies.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "Why the fuck would you quit a big show like NYPD Blue and do a bunch of movies?" Like, boy, I hope he fails. And then the movies failed, and then everybody's like, "Ha ha." And then he never did a movie again. You never saw him in a good movie. Like he had this trajectory of this amazing career.
Yeah.
Then he became this caricature, because then he was doing that stupid cop show where he would take his glasses off and say some stupid pun. Well, it looks like he got nailed, and he'd take his glasses off. Remember that? It was like CSI Miami or something like that, and it was a fucking caricature of a cop show.
Yeah.
Whereas NYPD Blue, when he was on it, was groundbreaking. I mean, it was fucking fantastic.
So what happened?
He became I don't know.
What?
I don't know who
Was
he
he
is,
a
but
diva?
he became recognized as a diva. Whether or not he was actually a diva, I don't know the guy. You'd have to meet him and talk to him and hang out with him. But he had that stink. And you get that stink on you.
That's the other thing too. Is it's not even in Hollywood. It's not even what's true. Sometimes it's just perceived. My dad used to always say, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. And that always stuck with me, because you sit down with people in the industry or whatever, and you just hear a lot of Hollywood is gossip, right? It's full of gossip queens. Everybody wants to talk shit about someone they worked with, or tell some story and tell how difficult somebody was, or this, that, and you don't even it's just a business built on it's just a house of cards. You're like, well, how do you even know that that's even true?
Right.
And so it's kind of fucked up. It's I don't feel like that happens in other businesses, but maybe it does with coworkers. I don't know.
Maybe it does. It's also it's a weird thing, because when you're a movie star like yourself and you're on the screen, like, you get all the adulation and all the love. There's a whole crew of people behind you.
Yeah.
There's special effects people and lighting and sound, and it's directors and producers.
Guys like Jamie.
And young Jamie. There's 100 people to every one that's on the screen, right? At least and
they get no love.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
They get no love, and that's where the business side of the business is so delusioned, because the agents and the people around it, they're not the ones there, putting in the sweat every day for 5 months to make a film.
Right.
Pulling the creative ideas, pulling the hard work, the grips, and all the guys who are underpaid and are working just to make money to feed their families. So it's interesting, because I saw it from a very different lens. I saw it from my father's lens, which is my dad, show up on time, get the movie done, shoot it fast, treat everybody good, and work with the same people over and over again, do the right thing by people, have integrity. Whereas people don't see that side of the business. There's so much other stuff that people never get love for in the film industry.
Yeah, well, the long hours. That's another thing that people don't understand. If you're on a film set, like, what's an average day for you?
It could be, a short day is a 12-hour day. So it's 12 to 16 sometimes.
And how many days a week you working?
5, 6. When you're on location, you could be in a movie that's doing a 6-day work week, or you could be doing a 5-day, but by the end, everyone's doing a 6, sometimes even, you're just you're in full throttle to get the movie done.
Now, when you're on location, do you have to squeeze a workout in to keep your brain sane?
Yeah.
How do you do that on a 16-hour day?
I try to do it during lunch, because I find that if you go to lunch, you get sluggish after lunch,
right?
And then you're going, oh well, shit, I got to get back in there, and do this. Now I got to hit the coffee, or I got to hit the whatever to get stimulated.
Cocaine,
get back
right?
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
Yeah, just
a bump.
Are you a meth guy or a coke guy?
But mostly meth.
Just a bump to get the head straight.
Just a little bit. Woo!
But yeah, so I think working out during lunch seems to be the best thing for me because I don't do well in the mornings for a workout because I feel stiff. So I like to get the blood going first. If I can hit it during lunch, even if I'm on set, I'll do whatever, dumbbells, this, that, and the other, and then I'll get some endorphins kicking.
Yeah, I used to do that too, but now lately, over the last not even lately, but over the last 5 or 6 years, I like to get up and the first thing I do work out. Especially if I was doing jiu-jitsu in the afternoon and I needed to do a lifting session, I wanted as much space between the lifting and the jiu-jitsu as possible so I can recover. So for me, it's just get up. And even though I don't feel good in the morning, once the blood starts pumping and the sweat, you got to just remind yourself, I know you feel like shit. Just do the few reps, get that blood going, and then once you're sweating, you're sweating. It's all the same,
Well, I do in the morning too. I worked out this morning and
plus meth,
but I just
that helps you feel the same.
So so in the movie Fast 8, we had a lot of sleeveless shirts, which that's awesome.
You're a big fan of those.
I'm a big fan of those.
That's why you slid me a DM.
Yeah.
I got a lot of shirtless stuff going on Instagram.
I'm not sure about the connection.
He's confused right now. He doesn't know what we're talking about, but he'll press on.
So did those guys? So Rock, Statham, all the. Do we have to do push-ups in there to keep that pump for the scenes?
It's a very good question.
Look, I think everybody wants to be on the at the tip of the spear, right? You got shirt off, tank off stuff. So let's get the pump on.
See, that's where a guy like me, I'm very, very modest. So if I was there, I would be the opposite.
With your skin tight, muscle bearing shirt.
I would try to slump, maybe, perhaps, or hide my definition.
No, that's not true. I saw you have good posture.
Shadow.
That's one of the first things I noticed when I walked out. I said, "Oh, he really works on his posture."
I do a lot of yoga.
Yep, I do a lot of yoga.
Very good posture. He notices, Cam. You don't even notice, bro.
That was
claiming to be my friend. Never commented on my posture.
That was one of the first things because I got into yoga about 10 years ago, and it's changed my life.
It's amazing, right?
It changed my life.
There's no pump in yoga.
There's no pump in yoga. We've discussed this. Cam likes sleeveless shirts and getting his pump on.
Yeah.
And it doesn't like touching his toes. That's a struggle.
I can do this.
If the knee's bent.
Yeah.
But anyway. I think that was one of the first thing a guy told me when I was getting into it. He said, "You really got to work on your posture." He goes, "You're gonna, look at guys who are 90 walking around on the street who are slumped over." He goes, "Do you want to be like that?" I mean, it kind of got me quick. I was like,
tell that guy to settle the fuck down. I'm 31 years old. How about you relax, pal?
Yeah. See, he's got such a better attitude because I would have said, "Worry about yourself."
Exactly.
I'm used to getting critiqued online, and so maybe I'm just a little defensive.
Well, these seats that we're sitting in are the best. They're called Ergo Depot, is the name of the company, and it's called a Capisco. And what it is they're comfortable, but they make you sort of sit and support yourself with your spine. Whereas a lot of times people just kind of slump in chairs.
Sure.
That's just terrible for your spine.
Terrible.
And slumping is terrible. All that stuff's terrible.
And when you order, put in Rogan as order and save 10%. Just kidding.
It's not a company. I'll sponsor. How dare you?
He's plugging every company. He's Coca-Cola, Pepsi, McDonald's.
Yeah. If you do yoga though, you will notice a difference in your posture and the lack of back aches and pains and stuff like that.
Everything.
But it's hard for people because it's not necessarily fun. The results are excellent, but while you're there and you're sweating your dick off and you're stretching and you
got to quiet your mind. I think that's the biggest hardest thing for people, right? Is that the meditation aspect of it is so hard for people to get out of their own way. Mm-hmm. But once you do it for a while, you realize you're like, now I crave it. I mean, I can't go a few days without. I start getting antsy, and I go, I got to get into yoga.
Yeah, it's just it's also a very pretentious thing. Not really, but it sounds like it is. I'm going to do yoga. I'm better than you. I'm going to do yoga, and then I'm going to have hummus.
Yeah.
I hate this guy.
Well, what was the thing was that when I started 10 years ago, a buddy brought me in. It was 98% female. Now I've noticed it's 50-50.
You got to go to a different class.
Yeah. So that'd be a reason not to go.
Yeah, what if there's a guy in front of you, and as you both bend over, you're standing in this guy's sack? That's not cool.
Well, what I'm trying to say is, I think that for a long time it was
stigmatized.
Frowned upon, right? I mean, for men to go to yoga, and I know I even had those thoughts. I was saying, well, yoga, I want to go hit the gym and get a pump on,
get jacked.
But now I'm going, well, you see all the benefits and everything.
Yeah.
To incorporate that with the pump.
Well, for jiu-jitsu, it's huge because range of motion is one of the most important things in jiu-jitsu, and flexibility, especially when you have a good guard.
Yep.
And I got into yoga for the most part because of Hickson Gracie.
Yep.
And I remember in 1994, I saw a video of Hickson Gracie doing yoga, and I was like, oh, because I was like, everybody had always said that Hickson was like, there was all these great Gracie family members. Henzo was great, Hyen was great, all these guys were great, Half, but Hickson was always thought to be number one. And I was like, well, why? Why is he so much better than everybody else? And then I realized, he's got like the full package. Like his dad is Helio Gracie, so his dad was like one of the originators of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yep. So he grew up with it. It's in his DNA. He trained his whole life under the best teachers in the world. And then yoga and training and exercise. Like Hickson does balance beams where he stands on a balance beam and does a full split standing up, holds his foot over his head. I mean, it's fucking freaky to watch. He's just got incredible control of his body. So the dexterity and the control of the body, along with the strength and jiu-jitsu, like that's what made Hickson who he is,
Sure.
It's one of those things. It's not as cool as telling someone you deadlift 600 pounds.
Right.
What are you doing? I'm doing deadlifting 605. I do 605 for 3. Everybody's like, oh,
people want to watch that.
Yeah. I put chains on it because it's not hard enough. Yeah, that kind of stuff is.
But that's gonna catch up at the end of your life. That stuff. It's, if you're not careful, you too much of that. I feel like it's really gonna cause a lot of pain in your later life.
It can. But if you just do yoga, you look like a monk.
Of course. No, you got to hit the gym, too.
Got to get jacked as well. It's a little bit of, I don't know. I mean, it depends on what you're trying to do. Yeah. But I agree with you that it does give you a calming thing. It calms you down in a way.
Yeah, and I think... But
there's Hickson. Look at that picture.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Him on the beach.
Wow.
I can't do that.
Oh, he's unbelievably flexible.
You got to get into it. You got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, Hickson... there's just not a whole lot of human beings that can do that, but forget about like world-class black belts.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a freak,
good
man.
Combination. Freak. Okay, wait. So I got to go back to the fanboy stuff. So I just want to ask. You started off acting with like smaller movies, right?
Sure.
But now you've been, and tell me if I know you were in Fury.
Yeah.
I didn't remember until that started to know who you were.
What's Fury?
Fury was with Brad Pitt, right?
Which one was that?
World War II, David Ayer.
Oh,
movie.
That's right.
Yeah. And then now it feels like you're in the big movies.
Well, look, I started 14, 15, almost 15 years ago now doing it. It's hysterical when people I first sort of got a couple hit movies happen. Overnight success.
Yeah, I know. That's how it always works.
What the fuck are you talking about? I've been at it for 10 years, at that point.
Yeah.
But I started doing tiny one-liners.
Right.
Any chance I got just to get on set, play any role, do any lines, whatever, just learn, soak it up. And I was doing that for years. I mean, I was doing that for 7-8 years. Mm-hmm. While I was bartending, while I was valet parking cars, anything to pay the bills.
Right.
But how important is that you actually worked your way through it, even though you're Clint Eastwood's son?
Right. That's what I was interested in. Is that I mean, it's like it didn't feel like he helped you, and I don't know, maybe he did, but
no. Anyone who knows my dad would just laugh at they would say, oh yeah, I mean, my dad's very old school, and he's very very tough on his sons. I have an older brother, and it just doesn't happen like that in our family. There's no handouts. You want something, you got to go get it. And I can't thank him enough for that because it never gave me any, backup. It didn't make me go, well, I can just sort of sit around or, it created drive.
Yeah.
It created, hard work and drive. And those are all the things that take to make somebody successful.
Yeah. Like if you were 22 and he made you a star of his big movie, that would have probably
first
ruined
off,
you.
It would have looked really bad on him.
Yeah. It would look weird.
So, and I mean, he could do that, I guess, when in his movie. But I think the common thing is, well, you had it easy because, somebody else. He can't just pick up a phone and call some big director and tell him who he should cast.
And if he did, it would be a mess.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, a mess. And the first director would probably tell him, thank you, Clint, but I keep not doing that. this is my movie, and I don't even know who your son is.
When he went on TV and did that like thing where he had a seat next to him and he talked to
chair.
Obama
Yeah.
and talked to the empty chair. Did you call him up and Dad go, "What the fuck, Dad? What are you doing?"
No, I stay out of politics. I don't give two shits about politics.
That wasn't even politics. That was just like a play. He had like a puppet show with no puppet.
Yeah, I did like the intent though.
Yeah.
Because well, whatever.
Yeah.
I was good with it.
I get it.
But hey,
restraint of tongue and pen.
Hey, so didn't you try out, or I don't even know how to, but didn't you
Audition.
There you go. This isn't my wheelhouse, but for American Sniper,
I did.
and that was his movie, right?
That was his movie.
So how'd that go? What happened?
Yeah, I auditioned, and I remember actually I knew Bradley Cooper, and I said, hey, I'd love to play your brother. I read the script, and I was already doing my own thing at this point. I was working for a long time, but I'd go in periodically and audition for his films.
Yeah.
Because they're Clint Eastwood films.
Right.
If I can get an opportunity to audition, great. And then, when I said that, hey, I'd love to play your brother in it or one of those roles, and Bradley kind of looked at me like, maybe, okay, cool. Kind of brushed me off with her. I was friends with him. And then so, I sort of, said, hey, can I get an audition to go audition for this through my dad's company? And so I went and put myself on tape. It's pretty simple when you go audition for him. He's not there. No one's there or anything. You just go put yourself on tape with a casting director.
Okay.
And then, you either hear something back or you don't.
Yeah.
And that's sort of that's the end of it. And a lot of times you never do. I mean, that's how it goes for actors.
Yeah. So that's what happened with that. You put it on tape and then didn't hear back.
Yeah. No.
You didn't say what Dad was
No,
up.
it didn't work like that in my family.
Really?
He's too old. I would never even dare to bring up something like that.
Oh,
That's
really?
interesting.
Okay.
Respect.
Yeah, that's
probably why you're so normal.
Me?
Yeah, because look, those people that are in those sheltered families where
it's not good.
It's not good. It's not good for you.
No, you don't have the value for a dollar, the value for hard work. You don't have everything becomes blurred.
Well,
how you
it's
treat
handed
people,
to you, yeah.
everything,
I think that's the same way with inheritance. I mean, it's very rare that someone inherits a shitload of money early on in life and then winds up having character and being... They say that Donald Trump is like that he's a cool guy. Like everybody I know that's met him, I know he gets a lot of weird press, but the guys that I know that know him say he's a really nice guy, really down to earth, really normal, really healthy. And I've heard that about a lot of Trump's kids, which is really strange.
Yeah.
Because he's this crazy, I'm the best, I do the best things, my ratings are the best. But you would think that he would be like this dicky dad, but apparently he's done a great job as a dad, which is very strange,
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
that's what I hear about Donald Trump Jr.
Yeah, I've heard that too, and he bow hunts, so
he does.
Got to be cool.
So he's got that going. Well, maybe that's why he's cool. I mean, maybe
That's probably it.
I mean, it might have something to do with it, for real. Like just all those experiences in the wild.
Well, no, and we just today. So we've shot a lot of air. I mean, I've been doing this for 30 years. You've been doing this for years now, and still, it's so humbling.
Yeah.
I mean, there's, it's not easy making a good shot.
Yeah, every now and then one goes right into the neck of the target, and you're like, what the fuck? I've been doing this all day.
Yeah.
And one just, doink, just goes wrong.
You talk about ego checks. I mean, anytime you think you're good at archery, for sure, there's a wake-up call.
Yeah, I mean, it is not easy.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to do. And then also, it's like waiting, stalking with
on
your
the
friend.
hunt?
And then all of a sudden, here comes the time. Ready? Get ready. Pull a shot. Now? Is it really happening? Is it really? And then you have to execute a great shot under this insane,
Overcome the
tremendous
adrenaline.
putt.
Yeah.
Have you done bow hunting yet?
Yep.
What have you bow hunted?
Deer.
Have you been successful?
I have.
That's a nice thing, huh?
Yeah.
What kind? Blacktail? What'd you do?
Yeah,
Whitetail?
in California.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Nice.
And it is like it's very like you said, it's totally in the pocket. All of a sudden it's now an adrenaline, and then you're, it's over because you either missed the shot or you didn't take it, and you're like.
You know what they say, Cam? That there's a direct correlation between lower heart rate and good archery. That there's actually been studies done, like in these European circles where there are target archers. And one of the things that they found to improve, Dudley was talking about this on his podcast, Knock On his podcast. He was talking about that running in particular is really good at lowering your heart rate, obviously, but then also the side effect of that is it improves archery and it improves your ability under pressure to keep your heart rate down because your heart rate is naturally lower.
Right.
You know, like your resting heart rate's got to be stupid low. Like, what is it?
I don't know, 40s.
Yeah.
40s, wow.
Yeah. So
I thought mine was good in the 55 or something. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what Michael Bisping's is? 34.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Savage.
Most good marathon runners are low 40s, upper 30s.
Yeah. So when you have that going for you, like say if your heart rate gets jacked up and you calm it down, you're probably still going to be like within the 60s or 70s. Whereas a guy who's like some fucking bubba with some big sloppy gut and, and he's taking rip fuel just so he can get up to the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
When he gets up there and sees something, he's like, he's tired, he's winded, his heart rate's already jacked, and it's harder to execute a good shot under those conditions.
Yeah. And I mean, just like with running and exercising, you recover faster the better shape you're in. So that's kind of why, I mean, it can peak, but then it's back low, normal, and then you're more composed. So, I mean, it takes a while for those guys to recover if they're not in shape.
After all my years of exercising, I've just started running.
Wow. We're running today.
We're running today. We're running the trails today after this. I'm trying to keep up
with him?
Ridiculous.
That's crazy. Yeah, he told me that. I said, not
okay.
for me, buddy.
It's like doing jiu-jitsu with Hickson. You know you're going to get killed. Just go out there and do it.
Yeah.
Don't be a pussy.
How many miles are you guys going to do today?
Probably 20 or 30.
If he can make that. I mean,
no, just kidding.
You're kidding, right?
He's got weird shoes on.
But honestly, seriously, Addy, if you're training for 230 miles, how many do you do a day?
Yeah,
because you can't do a marathon every day, right? You kill yourself.
He was doing a half marathon every day.
Yeah, at least. There's days, there's weeks getting ready for the Bigfoot that I ran 130, 140 miles. So it's almost 20 miles a day.
And the Bigfoot, it's 205 miles. Over what'd you do, 78 hours?
78:56.
Did you see that ultramarathon guy who finished 6 seconds past the deadline?
Oh, Barkley.
Did you see that?
The Barkley Marathon.
Yeah, he fucked up.
I know.
He took a detour.
No, I know. That race, they've been sending me messages, and they tagged, I don't know if it was both of us, but the other day did a tweet. Somebody mentioned my name for it, and so the race actually tweeted and said that I wouldn't be able to finish because I'd want to get up in a tree stand and kill some of the wild pigs running around.
Was there a lot of pigs?
Yeah, apparently I didn't know this, but so that Barkley Marathon itself tweeted that.
Where is it?
Tennessee.
Oh, yeah, that place is infested apparently.
Yeah, Tennessee. So it's and I got it. There's a whole story behind it. I wish I knew it because I'm going to sound stupid, but there's a prison there. And I can't remember who was in the prison. Some famous criminal killed somebody or tried to kill somebody. Anyway, escaped, and he made it, was out for 55 hours, something like that, made it just 8 miles, and they got him. So that's kind of how the race originated. There's a story behind it. So the race is there around that prison in that same country.
Wow.
And so the goal, the time limit is something around that 55 hours. And you have 5 loops. You go one way on the first loop, opposite, and the course isn't marked, so you're navigating with a map that you have to create yourself. And to get the checkpoints, there's books there at every checkpoint, and you have a certain number of the page, and they say you go and pull out page 12 of every book. This is how it works, and then you bring it back to make sure, and they check you when you get the lap completed and say, okay, you hit every checkpoint, here's all the pages of those books, and then you do another lap.
But what if you run with some douchebag who's like, fuck page 3, I'm pulling his page out too, page 7 could suck my ass.
Yeah,
and just starts pulling people's pages out.
There's honor in if somebody working that hard, usually you don't have to worry. They respect other people working that hard too.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just kind of the
thing.
Yeah,
the honor system.
The culture of it. Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't worry about something like that. But it sounds like a brutal race. I think it might be up to 15 people now have completed it in 25 years.
Whoa.
It's tough.
And this guy missed it by 6 seconds?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, because he fucked up and made an error in his path.
Something happened, and I didn't read the whole story, but yeah.
So you have to do it inside of 60 hours. Is that what it is?
Something like that, yeah.
And he was like 60 hours and 6 seconds or something like that.
It says he when he was going around the race,
crazy.
he found he came to a staircase, and there's no staircases in the marathon, so he knew he fucked up then.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy.
He was super sleep deprived. He knew he made a wrong turn.
Yeah.
He was 2 miles from the end of the race.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's no course.
So you just run in the woods?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Sounds ridiculous.
So they have the map up there, the topo map up there, and you create your own map off of that map. And you can't use a map. You can't use a phone. You can't use a GPS. So there's navigating as a part of this thing.
When are you doing it?
I want to do it.
I know you do, you
I
fuck.
do.
I can tell.
Crazy.
Yeah, to get entered that's a whole process in itself. You have to send like a letter and $1.47, something like that, into the race director, and they select who they want in there, and then you have to bring a license plate from your house, from your home state, and like a shirt to the guy, and then you're in.
Wow.
So there's a lot of crazy. I don't know. It's just
Got
a
to bring him a
history to it.
shirt? Can you give him a Keep Hammering shirt?
I
Or
don't
does
know.
it have to be a specific shirt?
I think he chooses. I don't know. I need to. I watched a documentary, but I don't remember every detail.
Are you doing some really nutty one soon?
Well, I need to talk to Candace about it, the race director of the Bigfoot. She's putting on the Moab. It's a 234 mile race. This will be the first one. It's the longest one there is.
So you're going to do what you did, the Bigfoot 200, which is 205 miles, and then you're going to do another 29 miles.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's what I need to run it by her. I mean, it was successful last time. We got a lot of people followed along, which is what we wanted.
When you were running?
Yeah, with the live tracking, and it was cool because the race is so special, and she's so special as far as her passion for this and creating these opportunities for people to really test themselves.
And she was on your podcast.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of hers.
What's her last name?
Candace Burt.
And the Keep Hammering number what? Do you remember which number was it?
No.
4 or 5 was it?
I'm not sure.
Okay. People will find it.
Yeah, no, it was good though because she's super cool, and so she's putting on this new one in Moab, and it's further than any other race, and so I want to do it. But
There it is. Race number 3, Moab 200.
yeah,
Why do they call them 200s when they're 234?
I don't know. That's what
It's like the Bigfoot thing. Called Bigfoot 205, goddammit. 205 miles.
I feel like 34 miles is a little too far just to round down.
It's a weird number.
I mean, let's
got a
call
nice
it
ring to it, 200.
The how about the Moab 250? That's closer if you're going to round.
I like that. It's better. Sounds better. Just
Yeah, so 234.3.
and if you run 234 miles, an extra 16, probably just like, who cares?
Yeah,
I'm already dead.
it's a long way.
Just run.
It's a long. But look
already
at that country.
dead.
Doesn't that look beautiful?
It does. But it's going to be in July, isn't it?
No, October.
Oh, okay. So that's not bad. You'll be fairly cool. Now, you were saying that when you do one of these things, you don't sleep.
No.
Like you slept like maybe an hour a couple of times.
Yeah, and that's how if you want to win. The guy who won, Richard, total beast. I was asking how long because my goal was to win. I didn't achieve my goal. My goal was I wanted to get the fastest ever, so I came up short on that. But
What place did you place?
I finished 8th. Yeah, so I was winning through 62 miles, I think, and Richard passed me.
Fuck Richard.
Oh, he's a stud. But I was asking, I'm like, how long had he been sleeping, at these checkpoints? And they said 15 minutes. I'm like, what? So I decided I wasn't going to sleep until I got 100 miles done. I wanted to get at least halfway done. So I got to 100, slept for about an hour, and got up. And then I ended up sleeping for 3 hours total over the 78 hours. So you sleep about an hour a day if your hope is to compete to win or to place high like I wanted to.
Jesus
You just
Christ.
can't sleep.
You don't have any interest in doing that, do
No,
you?
no.
Good
I
for
talked
you.
about it yesterday. I said absolutely no fucking way.
Yeah. It takes a
Why?
rare kind of
Yeah,
kook.
Yeah.
It's just you know what it's just like it's a different type of test just to see
Sure,
what you're
I get
capable
it.
of.
Yeah, I get it.
I get it. I'm just not that into running.
Do you run at all?
Like this morning, I ran on the treadmill before I hit the weights, but just to warm up because there was nothing in the gym I was at, but not really.
You can go with us. Later.
Maybe I'll come with you guys. I gotta
Yeah,
run.
fuck Conan
Maybe let's run to
O'Brien.
Conan. Can we run to?
Yeah.
Fuck Conan.
You'd be breathing brake dust and all that terrible shit
I
out
say-
there.
Oh
in
yeah,
here.
all that crap. out there.
I say we run there and then shoot bows there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, tell
Shoot him at
Conan, look, this is what we really should be concentrating on.
Isn't he like 10 foot tall?
He's a big guy,
Pretty tall,
very
like
tall guy,
6'7" or
super nice guy.
Is he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very nice guy.
Yeah. You went when somebody was on his show. You like went with them, right?
Sturgill
Right,
Simpson.
yeah.
Yeah, I went and hang out with him down there.
Didn't he? Did he win a Grammy?
Yeah,
This year?
Yeah, he won a Grammy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's another guy that's like a super famous, super successful guy that
Yeah.
you would never know if you met him. It's just as normal
Really?
as they get. Yeah, he's
Nice.
fucking working on a railroad car. Like he was working for a train company just
Yeah.
like a couple of years before he made it. His wife talked him into doing music. She was like, you don't suck at this.
Well, that's what
then-
shocked me about when I met Cameron. It came out in the conversation. He's still working for your
utility.
utility company.
Dude, I've been
And I
trying
was
to
like,
get him
what
to
do you
quit
mean?
for
I was
2
like, You're
years.
a professional hunter. And I was like, you do all this great stuff. I follow you. What do you mean? And he's like, yeah, I still have this other job. And I'm like, wow. I was like super, it's a lot of respect for him.
I've been trying to get him to quit forever.
We have more time.
How many times have I
man.
tried to get you to quit?
Today, about 10 today. He's like, let's go to Hawaii. We can hunt there. They got all sorts of access
Oh,
deer.
yeah, access
It's
deer
gonna-
on
it's-
Maui and stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's going to be awesome. So that's in June.
it's
Well, I'm going, and I'm trying to drag him along. He's like, I have to quit my job. I'm like,
come,
good, we
shit.
killed 2 birds with 1 stone.
I know. So it's like, yeah.
You gonna go with like Shane Dorian or something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Shane's going to
Yep.
be down there. My
Nice.
friend Remy Warren's going to be down there. John
hell yeah.
Dudley's going to be down there. It should be a gay old time.
Hey man, if
Flintstone
you got an
style.
extra spot,
You want to go?
I
For
would
real?
love to, yeah.
I'll see if we
That'd
can
be
make something
awesome.
happen. I'll see
Yeah.
if we can make something happen. I'll find out what's going on. But apparently, Lanai in particular.
Yeah.
Well, they say Maui. Remy Warren just got back from Maui. So
Maui's got
axis
good
deer
on
all
the south
over.
side. Yeah, they've got
Yeah.
a lot down there.
Yeah.
So
it's-
have you hunted there too?
No,
Oh,
I've
you
never
never
got the
did?
chance. No,
Where have you
I've
hunted?
never- in South here, mostly in the Southern California area. But I know,
when you were hunting, were you still hunting spot and stalk? Like, what are you doing?
no,
Tree
just
stand?
just knowing the areas with a friend who knew the areas and walking and fleshing them out.
And you were doing it with that Ross bow? Why are you laughing? There's nothing wrong with that.
He's just a little bit self-conscious about the Ross.
nothing wrong with it.
That thing-
Hey,
that
man.
that thing was a good bow.
It
for a long time.
it killed a deer apparently.
Yeah.
So
Well, now that you have a Hoyt, though,
Yeah, that thing's like the most balanced. I mean, you feel immediately when you.
they're so good. Those new ones are so good. It's so crazy because the first one Cam ever got me was only 4 years ago, and you
Yeah.
would think like, wow, that's pretty recent, but
Yeah.
and it was awesome at the time. But if you had to go back to it today, be like, oh, this piece of shit. Like look at this thing. It's like, but not really. But bow
No.
technology just keeps increasing.
Yeah.
Every year they get a little better,
A little bit
better,
better.
a little bit better.
yeah,
Sure.
And you might not know. I mean, because I always say it's like, oh, I try not to be the guy who's like, oh, this is the best thing I've ever shot, but it's slightly better. And as we know in hunting, that there's a fine line between success and failure. So that slightly better might be the difference.
Yeah.
You know a lot more. I'm an amateur in comparison.
Now,
to,
and I don't want to.
I did beat him. I did outshoot him.
He
a couple
did.
times yesterday.
Did you really?
Wait, a couple times.
Oh, he's like, you're taking a liberty.
I remember,
a liberty there.
I remember a time.
Well, that is the beautiful
No.
thing about archery is that there really is no perfection in archery. I mean, you
Yeah.
can get a perfect shot, but to be
Yeah.
perfect every time you shoot is never been done, really.
No,
Sure.
well, I will say, by the end of the day, we were out there in the parking lot of Riverside Archery. We had a 46-yard shot, and Scott was laying them in there.
Nice.
I mean, a nice, tight group. We were shooting 3 arrows at a time. I mean, so, and that's just in a day with that new bow.
That new bow, yeah.
Yeah.
That-
Dude, Cam and I were talking about this today. If people knew how good it feels to like steady yourself, anchor, like look through that peep sight, breathe, release that arrow, and watch it thunk.
Yeah.
Right where you're. It's the best feeling. It
It
feels
is.
so good.
Well, we filmed today, and so I took a shot at 61 yards with my big old heavy arrow, and I shot, and I like run up to the binoculars, and I look, and it was a perfect shot, and I was like so excited. It was like the first time I ever shot a bow, and that's just how fun it is. This is
Yeah.
how excited I still get, and people. I told Joe, I said, if people knew this, or I mean, they're going to watch this and go, I want to do that.
Yeah.
That looks awesome. If you're after 30 years, you're getting this excited, it's just love it.
We were talking about this today, and I want to bring this up, and I think Hoyt should do this. The big entry barrier in learning archery is having someone teach you. And like going somewhere and not knowing how to get started. Like once you get started and you say, oh, I'm a 28-inch draw. Oh, I like a 450 grain arrow. And you know all the stuff that you need. Then it becomes easier to sort of do. But the beginning, it's so daunting and confusing. The learning curve is so long. They should have, like Hoyt should have a Hoyt Academy, or a place you can go where you could buy a bow, they size you, they fit you up to the correct draw length, and then you sign up for a class, and there's a teacher, and they show you how to do it. If there was something like that, whereas like, you know, you can go take karate somewhere, you could go take jiu-jitsu somewhere, go try to take archery somewhere. There's not a lot of places. And if they are, you know, like the first place that I went to was a little fucking sketchy. You know, they didn't really, you know, my draw length was too long.
It's good pro shops are hard to find. I mean, I'm lucky with the bow rack back home, and Wayne does that. Wayne he teaches them right, he coaches them, and it seemed like Riverside Archery was that Chris there.
He's a nice guy.
Oh, totally, and totally knows archery too. So, but those might be unique examples because there's a lot of pro shops. I mean, this guy who works with Under Armour was telling me about his pro shop back home. They were almost making fun of him. Actually not him, but his cousin was in there trying to get set up with a bow, and it's just like
we making fun of him. Why? Because he
didn't know.
Oh,
he didn't know. It's just like so you never know what you're gonna get. You know, there's all sorts of different type of people out there.
I pulled up to the hotel to come up to LA because I got to do some press, and I opened up the hotel with the Hotel Bel Air, and I opened up the door of my truck, and all the field tips come out. Oh, and everyone like the bellman's looking at me going, what the fuck are you doing with two compound bows in the car in LA?
Yeah, they don't know how to handle that. Yeah. If you were in Cam's neighborhood, they'd be like, oh, you bow hunting?
Yeah.
Out here, they're like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah, it's going to kill somebody.
Probably, right? Or you're a big Walking Dead fan. Yeah, that show drives me crazy when those arrows just stick in those zombie heads. I'm like, why do they just stick? How come there's no pass-throughs?
Yeah, you know, and that's... on Fighter and the Kid yesterday, they're asking about that. They're like, what would an arrow do? Would it go halfway in like in the movies?
Oh my God.
And I'm like, it wouldn't even
you wouldn't even feel it.
Wouldn't even
right
slow down.
Yeah.
It'd be like, and I told him about we put up this bear clip. Joe, before we realized the venom that'll come out of bear hunting, but Joe retweeted the video of this bear stood up and was grabbing this beaver up there, and I shot it, and we had a GoPro on the back side of it, and the arrow went through the bear, came out the back side, and it was just like, didn't even slow down.
No.
I mean, and just kind of all this stuff kind of came out with the arrow, and it was just like, what was the sound? That was it. Like that's the sound the arrow made going through the bear.
It just blasts through the bear's body, and then the bear went on a full sprint.
Yeah.
You know, almost right where you guys were, just slightly off to your right. This bear goes, and if you've never seen a bear sprint before, like when you see them lumber around, you go, oh well, I kind of get an idea what that thing can do. Bullshit,
right?
You know, that thing is like Usain Bolt when you threw an arrow through it,
right? And that's a 400-pound bear. So you can imagine what Brian was asking about. What is he, 160 pounds, something like that?
He's about 110. Maybe 106, somewhere around there.
But anyway, I told him, I said, these bows wouldn't even slow down. You wouldn't even know you
would be too late. It would go through you, and then you'd go, what just sat? Oh, why am I?
Yeah.
Why do I see Grandpa?
Yeah, so Walking Dead.
Grandpa.
Grandpa's reaching out, holding your hand.
I missed that one.
Taking a skateboard through the clouds.
But yeah, so with the Walking Dead, they got some rotten zombie head, and the arrows are just sticking in it.
So, hey, speaking of near-death experience, I wanted to ask you this because I listen to your podcast a lot, and I know you talk about DMT and some of the stuff you see when like it produces in your mind or you produce it in your body, right? Is that the chemical that you release like when you die or when you have like a near-death experience?
They believe so. Here's the the deal. They didn't know for sure until really recently that it was even produced by the pineal gland. Now that they know, the guy named
so it is produced by the pineal?
There's a guy named Rick Strassman, Dr. Rick Strassman, out of the University of New Mexico, and he put together these clinical trials that were the first ever FDA-approved clinical trials on a psychedelic drug, first ever on DMT. And they were done in New Mexico, and he did them, and he wrote a book about it called DMT, the Spirit Molecule. And one of the things that he found, it's a great book, and one of the things he found really fascinating, and I read the book before I ever did DMT, the thing that he found really fascinating was that these people had used uniform experiences.
Yeah.
It wasn't like one person saw this thing and then another person had a totally different trip. No, they all had like fairly uniform experiences. And here's the other thing that's really fascinating. Their experiences in many ways mirror the experiences of people that have been abducted by aliens and people that have near-death experiences. And the connection, they think, is that the brain produces this chemical called dimethyltryptamine. And we know that it's produced by the liver, and we know that it's produced by the lungs. And then in Eastern mysticism, it was always thought that the pineal gland was the seat of the soul, that it was the third eye, that literally in reptiles it has a retina and a cornea. And actually, it's like literally an eyeball in the center of your head. And in the Vatican, there's a gigantic sculpture of a pine cone in the Vatican. And that pine cone is supposed to represent the pineal gland. See if you can get a photo of that gigantic pine cone. And I was actually in the Vatican last summer, and I had a conversation with a guide. We had this really cool guy who was a professor who was explaining to us all the different stuff that, it's all the different symbolisms and what they mean. And their Eastern mysticism and a lot of ancient religions have always been heavily focused on the pine cone and pineal gland. And that is what that's supposed to represent, that gigantic pine cone in the middle of...
And I hear there's something now, like people smoke pine cone, or there's some...
Really?
People, yeah, there's some...
People smoke socks if you give them to them.
But
some
apparently
people are assholes.
it's like... No, but I heard that. I mean, I heard that now that there's some sort of... Because DMT is like a plant, right? It's plant-based,
yes,
right?
That is the thing, is that the DMT doesn't just exist in one plant. It exists in thousands of different plants.
Sure.
That's why they have ayahuasca. And what ayahuasca is an orally active DMT. So DMT, normally when you eat it, your body produces something in your digestive tract called monoamine oxidase.
That blocks it, right?
Yeah. And so what ayahuasca is DMT from one plant and an MAO inhibitor from another plant. And they combine it together and they create an orally active DMT. Because otherwise you'd just be tripping every time you eat a salad. Like you get some wheatgrass juice, you chip your balls off, but your body keeps that from happening.
Gotcha.
But the purpose of that DMT and what it does in human neurochemistry is not really understood that well. But what they do know now, because of Rick Strassman and the work of the Cottonwood Research Foundation, which is a foundation that's dedicated to exploring these subjects, they've found that in live rats or mice, I forget which one, that they've proven that their pineal gland is producing dimethyltryptamine, which is what it's always been anecdotal evidence. So now they know that it's not just produced by the liver and the lungs, but it's also produced by this little gland. And this little gland, they think, during near-death experiences and during heavy REM sleep, it's producing DMT. How much? They don't really know, because they would have to get in there and they'd have to somehow or another figure out a way to measure it while you're alive. They haven't figured out how to do that yet, because it's in the center of your head. They'd have to drill in there and tap it, and who knows how the fuck they could do that with today's technology. But maybe someday in the future they'll be able to figure that out.
No, I've been fascinated by it ever since listening to you talk about it, and then watching your documentary on
DMT, the Spirit Molecule.
The Spirit Molecule.
That was all based on Strassman's work.
Yeah. So I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I tried it one time, and it was unlike anything for the 10 minutes I've ever experienced in my entire life. And so it was, after that, I've obviously read all the stuff, try to, what's interesting is I think no one will probably ever know.
Until you do it.
Or no, I just mean
what it is.
There's a phenomenon happening that we just as humans can't possibly understand.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll never understand in our lifetime.
Well, there's two different ways of looking at it. One is that it's a human neurochemistry, and that is a chemical that it's just producing these crazy visuals, and it's just all the meaning that you attach to it is just your own. And then the other way of looking at it is it's some sort of a chemical gateway into the afterlife, and that what you're seeing is like the souls of these people that have lived before and all the people that have ever lived, like a sea of souls. And I don't know who's right or who's wrong, but it's impossible to describe. Like you describe it, it's just like you're just throwing words around. Just it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's produced by your own body. That's the weirdest thing. Like everybody has it. Like Terrence McKenna used to do a joke about it. He said everybody's holding. Like it's a Schedule 1 compound, but everybody tests positive for it.
Wow.
Like it's illegal, but
is it
it
illegal? Like I mean, how do they decide whether it's going to be illegal if it's if it's a plant based?
That's the problem.
It's
that is the problem.
Just
the plants that all contain it are all legal. They are all legal, and then it's illegal. But it's in all these legal plants. But it's in thousands of plants. That's part of the problem. It's like you can have a San Pedro cactus and keep it in your house, and everybody's like, "What's that?" Like, "Oh, it's a pretty cactus." Yeah, but it's also there's drugs in that fucking cactus. I mean, that's where mescaline comes from. It comes from that.
Literally.
You know,
I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, you trip your balls off from a fucking cactus.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, when the peyote rituals, that's from a cactus. That's a San Pedro cactus.
Huh.
Is this mescaline the same thing as peyote?
I think so. I think see if you can Google that, Jamie. I believe that peyote and mescaline are
It's just
in
like
some way.
that's the slang or something for it.
Is it?
Yeah, mescaline occurs naturally in the peyote cactus.
Yeah. So you could have that cactus in your house, and you're basically a drug dealer. But meanwhile, you're not. You're a little old lady who enjoys succulents. You know? You're like, oh, it's such a pretty cactus. I love it. I can go out of town for a week and come back, and it's fine. Yeah, so that's a really cool-looking cactus that people keep in their yard all the time in L.A. Like, one of the things in L.A., because of the drought that we have for so many years until this year, which is awesome. Everything looks like New Zealand out there now.
Yeah, it is nice.
But people would have these hardscapes in their yards where they would just have rocks and succulents and cactus. So there's a lot of people that have those cactuses. That cactus, you could go meet Jesus with that cactus.
Have you done it?
No.
Peyote?
No, I've never done peyote.
Yeah, that seems like a long time though, right? I think
it's one of the longer ones, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's a few hours. But so is ayahuasca. You know, I haven't done that either. I've only done what DMT is like a shorter, more potent form of it.
Yeah.
But I've done it several times over the course of an evening where it's like been like a couple-hour experience.
Do you feel like I mean, obviously, people who have done it, they know it's just like, it's not something that you're doing recreationally. It's something that's like, okay, you do this one time. Or a couple times. It's not like you're out going to the club.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? It's a very spiritual sort of thing you do.
That word spiritual is so beaten down. It's one of those words that I don't even like to use.
Okay.
Because it's, you know what I mean? It's
Sure.
like so many people are like, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. Like, it almost seems like, you know what I mean? It seems like
I got a spiritual gangster show I'm about to throw away as soon as I get home.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan says not cool.
Well, it's not that it's not cool. It's just, it's
I
kind
get
of
it.
been co-opted by nonsense.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
and not even nonsense intentionally. I mean, people say that they'll say things and they don't mean anything.
Yeah.
It's not that they're lying or they're being deceptive. It's just that it's such a problematic word.
No, yeah. What I mean, I guess I can say better is it's a experience that is something that's very powerful.
It's very
and
profound.
it's profound, and you want to sort of do it and talk about it and have a collective sort of discussion about it.
Yeah, and there's also a real problem with perception, especially amongst people that haven't experienced psychedelic drugs. That when you say the word drug, or you say psychedelic compounds maybe, because when you say the word drug, people automatically have in their head, oh, you're a weak person, you're trying to hide from reality. You know, you're trying to shield yourself, you're just trying to get high and just lay around like, I don't even want to be here, man. Couldn't be further from the truth. It's like one of the most self-exploratory,
mind-opening,
and deeply disturbing in its profound and powerful effects. It's very shocking, and you leave it. Once it's over, you're a different person, man. Now that you know that that's a real possibility, you're going to be a different person.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, I was. Maybe you won't. I mean, it depends on how you're coming into it, and then what kind of defense mechanisms you have, what kind of ego you have,
Sure.
whether or not you can just realize, like, now that you've seen this, you know that life will never be the same again. You're always going to know that that's a possibility, that you can smoke this crystal powder that's extracted from plants, and when you smoke it, you're transported to a world of love and understanding and geometric patterns of infinite description, to the point where like you can't even describe, you don't even know what you're looking at while you're looking at it. It's just so beyond.
Like lifts the veil from what we think is reality.
Yeah, and it might be heaven. It might be the afterlife. It really might be. There might be a reason why people think that heaven is filled with ultimate love. It's because people have had near-death experiences and they've come back with these stories. And during those near-death experiences, it's entirely possible, not just speculative, not just like, it might absolutely be that your brain is producing this dimethyltryptamine that it already produces in high doses, and that's what it's there for. We don't know,
Sure.
But you've done it.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of people have done it now. Like more people than ever.
It's crazy.
In history, for sure. For sure, more people listening to this now have experienced DMT than probably at any time in human history.
And I tell people when they ask, I say, if you haven't done it, you should do it, because it's mind-opening. You go, well, okay. You realize it's humbling, I think, too. You go, there's a lot we don't understand that's happening, and that we may never understand, and to be so closed-minded to think we know one path or the other, what's the right thing or the wrong thing.
It's just ego.
Really arrogant.
It's very ego-shattering. It's very ego-shattering, and it also, once you know that that's possible, it's like, how is that possible? How is it possible that you're just 30 seconds away from that at any time?
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cam Haynes never experienced it.
No. I can't. I get drug tested at work.
He drinks Miller Lite, though.
Well, I don't think it's even, that wouldn't even come up on a drug test. It's like plant-based, right? I mean, that wouldn't
it wouldn't come up at all.
Come up on a drug test.
Your body tests positive for it, always.
Because you have it in your system.
Okay, let's do it. Where is it?
It's back home.
Just kidding.
We got to go into a vault.
Michael Bisping's going to get mad at us.
Why?
He was mad that you were talking about smoking pot all the time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
When?
A couple of days ago.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
Why was he mad at that?
I don't know.
It's silly. Why would anybody be mad at that? Pot's awesome. Settle down, Mike. He talks about drinking beer all the time. Mike's always drunk. Like, they did this whole thing where he's talking about being in Vegas, and he was talking to GSP, and GSP is like, "You're drunk." He goes, "Of course I'm drunk. I'm in Vegas." He goes, I just got here. I was drinking last night.
He said he doesn't put up all the time that he's drinking beer. Did you see this, Jamie?
Why can't GSP?
No, Bisping. Oh, but go ahead.
Beer.
You're talking about GSP.
No, Bisping was drunk.
Oh, okay.
And and GSP called him out on it. Like, he said, like, you smell like alcohol. He's like, yeah, I was drinking all night. The fuck's wrong with you? I'm in Vegas.
Okay.
Well, why would Bisping be upset that I talk about beer, or I talk about pot when he's always talking about beer? That's silly. Maybe that's not true. You sure?
Jamie?
You find that? Jamie's going to find it.
He was talking about you and...
He's probably just making fun of me.
You and Diaz.
Nick Diaz? He's probably just trying to get a fight with Nick Diaz. That's probably what it is.
Maybe he's angling for a fight. I figured you would have seen it.
No, I love Michael. I think he's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
That guy's tough as shit, man. Can't even see out of one eye.
I know.
He's got one eye that's all fucked up. They filled it. They did an operation on it and then filled it up with oil so that it doesn't, the retina doesn't rupture again.
When so he's fighting GSP. When is that? Do we know when?
They do not have a date. They're trying to figure it out. But Bisping has said that if GSP can't make it by July, he'll fight somebody else.
Huh.
So he might fight Yoel
How old
Romero.
is GSP now?
Michael Bisping blasts Joe Rogan and Nick Diaz for positively promoting cannabis.
Told ya.
But that might not be real. Like, by saying blasts, you'd have to hear like what he actually said.
I can't tell what it's from. It doesn't.
It's all
say.
clickbait nowadays. Anyways, right? It's bullshit.
So you might have just seen that. It might have literally been, he's probably hanging out with Joe Rogan.
Did
like
you
one
see?
of those
Did
things.
you see that 60 Minutes on and all the I know this word's a
It's a good
topical
picture
word,
of you.
the fake news or whatever. You see the 60 Minutes on it. Did you see
Hashtag
that?
fake
I
news.
didn't.
Oh yeah. I mean, that word's sort of popular now because I don't know if some people have said it and are popular, but it's amazing now all the people profiting on it. It really showcases. You should check out the 60 Minutes.
No,
It's incredible.
We've
Clickbait
had it.
stuff.
Do you remember the "You saved me from a bear attack"?
Oh yeah.
There was.
Yeah. There
No,
you go.
I got attacked by a bear. Joe shot the bear, and there's a whole article.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was all it was.
I got one that said I killed a mountain lion with my belt.
That's right.
At
outside
Ice
of comedy,
House, at the Ice House in Pasadena.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about that? Do you think that it's all that stuff is pretty Do you think there should be controls over it? Like just outside of being, the FCC being able to like sue people or whatever that never really happens, it feels like. Do you think that it should?
I don't know, because then there's like things like The Onion. It's like, when do you draw the line? Because The Onion is hilarious. So they'll make like a subtle parody of something and make it completely preposterous.
Right.
And then like pull up a good example of an Onion headline. It's like
The Onion is What's The Onion?
Do you don't know what The Onion is?
No.
The Onion is a famous parody news site where they make stories that just, if you're smart, you read it and you go, what?
Like Stephen Colbert or something?
Yeah.
He's making a parody on it.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. And most of them are pretty humorous, but occasionally people will tweet me with like an Onion story and like, can you fucking believe this shit, man? It's getting out of control. And then you read it and you go, hey, dummy, this is comedy. They're writing.
People don't have common sense, so that's a problem with that clickbait stuff. Is they believe it because they can't read it and be like, that's probably whatever. It's just like they believe everything.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't that the case with like cults and the Moonies and Scientology and like there's a lot of nonsense that people believe in. It's not hard to get people to believe in shit.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a good question. Like, what do we do about it? Do you leave it up to common sense, which isn't very common today?
No, it's not.
Or do you step in? Yeah, rookie Justice Gorsuch, how do you say his name? Assigned to Supreme Court overnight shift. It's a joke. See, because he's a new Supreme Court guy and they're giving him a shitty gig. See, that's not real. But if somebody read that, they're like, this is bullshit. These fucking liberals, they're just because he's a conservative, they're putting it.
Put him on the night shift.
Yeah. There's no night shift. Man tries using pink 6-pound bowling ball to great amusement. That's not real either. You see, like it's like what they do. They write these articles that are comedy.
But they pose as news, which is a little, I think it's different because, right, if you have, if you're fiction and you're posing as
real news.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like if obviously like there's no more journalistic integrity. It feels like.
Well,
there's some. It just feels like there's it's just, how do you know? You read the news, you're misinformed. You don't read it, you're misinformed. You're not informed. You're just like, well, what do you do?
So have you been the topic of something?
Oh, I mean, no. There's been fake stuff about me.
Yeah,
for sure. Oh, that's like my setting. My dad said, believe half what you see and none of what you hear.
Right.
I always laugh because there's always some silly thing. My friends will come to me and say, hey, do you really do this? No, I didn't do that.
There's a ton of fake stuff out there. There's a ton of fake stuff.
I'm sure there's a ton of stuff about you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just one recently. I disarmed a guy at the Comedy Store. Some guy had a gun, and I disarmed him. My buddy of mine who's a cop said, "Hey, man, congratulations on that. It's
good
tough
job
to do." I'm like, "What?
Good job.
What did I do?"
You saved people. You saved people's lives.
But you could ruin someone's life, in a second.
Yeah.
If someone
the wrong
in a
story.
way
they say the wrong word. Someone says he, they all they got to throw is allegedly or something. They say, allegedly raped somebody or something. They ruin some poor guy's life.
Yeah.
Reputation just out the window.
Well, that's what they've always been able to do with those supermarket tabloids. Say allegedly from a source. A source tells us that Cam Haines likes to,
Whoa, be careful here.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? But
Shoot bows. Shoot.
But
but you don't have to do much more than that, and you kind of cover your ass, and you say, I have to protect my sources. I have the First Amendment right, and. It's a weird time. It's a weird time because essentially the boundaries to publication have been dissolved. It used to be that you had to work for the New York Times or the Washington Post or a newspaper, whatever. Now, all you need is a blog or a Facebook page and you're breaking news, and Scott Eastwood admits to wearing women's clothes while he hunts for deer.
That's going to be on one.
Larry David, I wear women's underwear. That's one of the best lines ever.
It's strange. It is definitely, you're right, it's definitely strange. But but who's to decide? I know they're trying to work on some ways to figure it out. I know Facebook is working on some different ways to block fake news, but who's to decide what's fake and what's real? And who's to decide where it becomes parody? When is it funny? Like, when is it The Onion, when it's pretty subtle?
Sure.
And when is it just like some guy making up a story about me saving you from a bear attack? And it's weird.
I know.
I don't sweat
it's
it.
a tough one.
Yeah. I'm not really concerned.
Yeah.
Look, I'll sleep well at night. I'll be okay, but...
it's a weird sign of the times The times are weird.
Yeah.
We have weird times. And the ability to communicate where anybody can do anything at any time and everybody can find out about it. Like you could write something on your Twitter page, just publish it, and then it gets to the right amount of people, and then they share it, and then all of a sudden, 1 million people have seen it inside of an hour. And
it's crazy, but it's good too.
Yeah.
I mean, we've used that for our benefit.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what you do all the time. That's what I do.
Your voice.
I mean, this made you have a voice, or me have a voice. You know, you've always had one, but me have one, and so it's an amazing time too.
Well, even my voice is way different now. Like having a podcast, and that's much. In a lot of ways, the same thing, because it's just. I mean, this is a pretty lean operation. Obviously, it's just
I was surprised.
Just a computer. You know, Jamie to figure it out, and then we talk, and then you upload it, and that's it.
Yep.
That's it. There's not a whole lot of steps, and yet this will probably get 5 million downloads. You know, maybe even more. So it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird in that sense that it can reach so many different people, and then. There's no corporation behind it. There's no Washington Post. So we could just sit here and just make up a bunch of fake shit and just be really adamant that this really happened. And a lot of people are
going to believe it.
And how could someone stop you from doing that? I don't know if they could. As long as you're not slandering anybody and you're not getting sued.
So what's your prediction if Bisping and GSP fight?
Very interesting fight because Bisping's been a battler, a warrior for a long time. He's been very active, and he's a very like well-honed machine right now. Whereas GSP's been out of the loop for a solid 3 years. No competition at all. However, he's been training the entire time.
Yeah.
So GSP is not a guy who sits around and gets fat and gets nothing done. No, he's constantly training.
Yeah.
But then again, he stopped because he was having memory issues and head injury. Yeah. I mean, he got hit in the head 800 plus times over the course of his UFC career.
In that Hendricks fight, he got hit in the head about 10,000 times, it seemed like. He was a mess after that fight.
Yeah. He's been a mess after a few fights.
Yeah.
Where, Carlos Condit head kicked him and knocked him down. I mean, he's had some wars. Matt Serra knocked him out,
It's weird. It feels like GSP, he's been the champion, but it doesn't feel like doesn't have that champion respect for whatever reason.
Well, it's because his last fight with Hendricks was super close.
Yeah, we watched that here.
Controversial.
I did the fight companion.
No, not to that fight. I was there for that fight.
Oh,
the
you
Hendricks? Were? Yeah, not Hendricks' last fight. I'm talking about GSP's last fight.
Oh, I was talking about Bisping Hendricks.
Oh, no, Bisping and Henderson. You did the fight companion for that one.
Henderson.
That's when Eddie Bravo went full Tower 7. Eddie got super drunk, was worried the Illuminati was going to come and get us. But
and I said knockouts were better than submissions, I think.
Well, a lot of people like it. But GSP's last fight with Johnny Hendricks, it was super close.
Oh.
Super close fight, and GSP retired with the belt.
Yeah, I thought he lost that fight. A
lot of people did.
Yeah.
A lot of people did.
Yeah.
Either way, it wasn't like this big victory. It's not like the way he beat down BJ Penn and stopped him. And it's not. If he said, then I'm going to retire, I've had a great time, thank you very much, everybody would be like, yeah, we love you, George.
Right.
But instead, it was a close fight. So people are like, I don't know, man. I don't know if he got the belt.
Right.
Maybe should have went out with a loss there. Who knows?
But don't you think Bisping doesn't have that championship type respect?
He does not right now.
Yeah.
And the reason he does not is because he defended against Henderson, who wasn't really ranked that high.
Right.
And he really shouldn't have got a title shot, but it was a rematch of one of the most epic knockouts ever. Because Henderson flatlined him and then punched him in the head while he was down and flew through the air. And that's Henderson's logo now.
Yeah.
Henderson's logo is literally a silhouette of his body flying through the air, ready to drop a punch down on Bisping's unconscious body.
Yeah.
So...
And then who else has he defended?
Then he defended it. After he did that, who the fuck did he just fight? No, he's fighting GSP. That's the next fight. So he defended it against Henderson, and then the next title defense is going to be against GSP.
He didn't have one before Henderson?
No. He won the title by beating Luke Rockhold.
Oh, Luke, yeah,
Then he
that's
defended
right.
it against Dan Henderson, and now he's going to fight GSP.
Right.
So
Okay.
the thought is, how is this guy getting two fights that aren't
Right.
Luke, when you look at
number one contenders.
Luke Rockhold, Yoel Romero, who's the number one contender, who's fucking terrifying.
Which he should get the shot, you think.
Yoel should get the shot.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, if you look at it in terms of who's the most viable contender, who's the guy that you would think would be the most threatening guy, who's the guy that might be the uncrowned champion.
Yeah.
You got to go with Yoel Romero.
It feels like UFC is, I think, they're trying to find their footing a little bit with no Ronda, no Conor, so they're just going after that big, what can we sell a bunch of pay-per-views for, and GSP's a big name.
No, go, please, go.
No, I was just going to ask, what's happening with Conor and that whole fight with...
Floyd Mayweather?
Yeah, is that happening?
They don't know. It has not been worked out yet, so it's not definitive, but there's so much money involved that they think they're going to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the UFC's got to come to an agreement. Or didn't he get in trouble with the UFC, though, Conor? Didn't Conor, for I don't know, not saying something and coming out and saying... something a while ago, or get fined or something?
He got fined for the throwing the water bottle Monster Energy thing.
Yeah, they fined him $150,000, then they dropped it down. I think they dropped it to like $35,000.
He said he'd never fight in Vegas again after that, and so
and they're like, "Hey, relax."
Because we can't go to New York because they're going to go to New York. It's a debacle.
The big factor is another factor is also that the UFC was purchased by WME. That's an entertainment company.
Right.
Entertainment company is going to try to put on the biggest show they could put on, and that's not necessarily like the number one ranked contender fighting for the title. I think that it's an entertainment. I understand it's a business. I understand, but it is also it's extremely important that you honor the hierarchy of champion and top challenger. I think that's critical.
Well, you work your way up. I mean, you pay your dues. You work your way up. You're ranked on ability.
Yeah.
So
they're trying to manufacture big fights instead of letting big fights build themselves.
Evolve.
Yeah, big fights evolve when you let a guy like Yoel Romero fight and he wins. He beats Chris Weidman by knockout, and then if he fights Michael Bisping and Michael beats Bisping, if Michael Bisping beats Yoel Romero, Michael Bisping becomes a superstar.
Right.
And it's a tough fight. It's a real tough fight. If Yoel Romero beats Michael Bisping, first of all, he looks like a goddamn superhero.
Yeah.
So that's easy to sell. You look at his highlight reel of smashing people to the fucking moon.
Yeah.
He's a freak.
Yeah.
He's one of the greatest wrestlers that's ever competed. He medaled in every single international competition he entered. He beat Cale Sanderson, who's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He beat him twice. Mm-hmm. He's just a freak of freaks. Do you know who Yoel Romero is? Jamie, pull up a picture of Yoel Romero. Because he doesn't even look real.
No, he doesn't.
He's like one of those guys who are like, what is that? That's a person? Is that a real person or a CGI person? Just so jacked.
Who did he... Oh, he beat...
He beat everybody.
No. But in that last one with the flying knee...
Chris Weidman.
Right. Oh, my God.
He flatlined him.
Yeah, because it seemed like that whole fight, he wasn't really doing much.
Look at
hardly.
that. Jeez. Get the fuck out of here. That's a real person?
But he did this.
Not look fun.
He's so jacked.
The fight against Chris Weidman was sort of like hanging in the balance, and then he did some flying knee, hit him in the side of the head.
Yeah,
I was just like, where did that come from?
So pull up that video that Yoel Romero KOs Chris Weidman. Yeah. There's an animated GIF of that. Oh, here we go. Go to the video. It's fucking insane. Like, look how he fucking flies when he lands.
No, but look how he turns around already and lands punches.
Here it goes. Watch this. Boom.
How recent was this fight?
A couple months ago.
I was in Australia. I don't think I saw it down there.
He's just a freak,
That's
man.
Crazy.
And it cut the biggest gash in the side of his head.
Wow.
Yeah. See if you get a clear video of it.
Superman fly. Yeah, look at that.
From like another angle. But he's just a freak of nature and science.
He's capable of that at any second.
Boom. But like the amount of force behind that, he's just flying through the air.
And that's like so irregular too. It's kind of like the way like Chuck Liddell used to hit, like real irregular, like a flying knee to your face.
Out of nowhere
right?
type thing.
Well, he's just he's so explosive. So his ability to close the distance is stunning sometimes, and people aren't prepared for it because he's such an athlete.
But in that fight, it didn't feel like he had been doing much. You know what I mean?
Right.
It felt like he was just kind of like, God, when is he going to get off?
It was a close fight, for sure.
And then all of a sudden, just some out of nowhere.
Yeah. So whether or not Michael Bisping can beat him, like who knows? But you got to give him a chance.
Oh, I know. He's
you got to give Yoel a chance.
Yeah. So it seems I don't know. It doesn't seem life isn't fair. Who cares? But it doesn't seem fair that it's GSP.
Well, the thing is it a sport or is it entertainment? I mean, you're just trying to put on a spectacle, or is it a sport? And if it's a sport, if you're going to have the World Series, people play this guy to play that guy, and then it gets to the World Series. And here's the World Series, folks. And we've had all this whole season. We've been building to this moment, and this is the hierarchy.
Right.
And it's still huge.
No, if it's just a show, put 3 of them in there. Put Yoel in there too with GSP and Michael's Bisping.
I was saying
all 3.
I was saying that they should have, because you're dealing with a guy in GSP who's been out for a long time.
Yeah.
Have him fight Nick Diaz. He's been out for a long time too. Neither one of them is ranked. Have both those guys.
They fought before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a rematch.
Yeah.
That's the fight.
That would get ton of pay-per-views.
Fuck
People love Diaz.
They love him. I don't think people even know how much people love him. I don't even know if the UFC knows how big of a star Nick and Nate are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Sacramento, right? California.
Yeah, but Bisping would like, oh, they're fucking smoking pot. Take him away from fucking promoting pot use.
Don't those guys like do crazy, insane cardio?
Oh, yeah.
Just like
Bisping's got insane cardio. The Diaz brothers have insane cardio.
Yeah.
Nick has swam back from Alcatraz 5 times.
Excuse me? Whoa.
5 times.
Yeah.
I said twice once, and he corrected me online. He said 5 now.
Well, they compete.
That race every year?
They compete in triathlons
all the time.
Yeah.
You know my dad actually he was in a plane crash in his early 20s, and it was off San Francisco, and he had to swim like a couple miles in that water to survive. Yeah.
Holy shit! He crashed into the water.
Yeah. Most people don't know that. It's
Whoa.
It's pretty crazy. He and I'm gonna butcher the details, but just from growing
Fake
up.
news.
Fake news, exactly. But what happened was he was in the Army, and it was right around the time the Korean War was starting, and they were flying, they were doing a routine flight or something, and they had to crash land in the ocean.
Whoa.
And it was getting night, and I believed the pilot died, and I could be wrong on that. The pilot died, but the other guy he was with survived. So him and this other guy, they were swimming to shore, and they got split up because it was getting dark at night.
Whoa.
And so then now they're swimming alone. And anyone who knows, San Francisco, it's cold. Yeah, definitely Jaws water.
Dum 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 dum. That's where they breed.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, great whites breed in Northern California. There's like a nesting ground up there.
Yeah.
Fucking
Not where you
monsters.
want to crash a plane then.
Not where you want to swim from
No.
Alcatraz 5 times either in your underwear.
I know, that's crazy. Yeah, I didn't know. I guess I've heard of that race. They do, but that's crazy. You've done that.
Yeah.
Wow. So your dad had to swim 2 miles?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe more. It could have been more.
Fuck.
But it was long.
I'm good for a couple hundred yards.
Yeah, swimming's not
And
easy.
then I start looking for a log to hang on to.
I think your dad has property in Oregon, or a house or something. Does he?
Not that I know of. We got a ranch up in Northern California. He's had a ranch for a long time up in east of Redding.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm getting it.
It's in if you ever know where Bernie is and that sort of area up there.
And then
It's
maybe
like Lake Shasta sort of area.
And I think we have a big sawmill.
Yeah.
Right where I live, Warehouser. I think this could be wrong. I think he worked there. Your dad worked at the Warehouser sawmill.
I don't know. I mean,
Jamie,
I never
look
heard
that up?
that. Look, there's a lot of. I've heard crazy things. I've heard crazier.
Let's see if this is crazy. Maybe it's on DMT.
How often do you get to hang out with him?
Well, I've been busy a lot. I was gone for 6 months in Australia, in China, and then before that I was working on Fast, and then before that I was on a movie. Not as much as I'd like, but he is turning 87 this year, and I'm taking some time off because I really feel like that's an important time in my life to try to be around him.
Yeah. 87.
I know, that's old.
It just happens. You
Yeah,
know?
it
All of a
does.
sudden you're 87.
That's almost 90. It doesn't feel like Clint Eastwood would be almost 90.
Yeah.
I know. I would have thought 70. It's strange. Wow.
Because he was just
So he had you when he was like,
In his 50s.
damn,
Early 50s.
son.
Yeah.
just getting shit done.
Wow.
He's well. I have a sister. who's 19. She might have just turned 20. No, 19.
Wow.
So yeah, he was getting it done.
Even in his 60s.
Yeah.
Slinging it in his 60s. Woo, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was married to that girl who was a newscaster or something, right? And they did a reality show?
Well, she did a reality show, yeah. He wasn't.
He didn't do it
No,
at all?
No, he was.
It was in no episodes at all?
Well, yeah, she might have gotten him into an episode.
She might have forced him into an episode?
Yeah,
I remember
wife,
that was going on. I was like, Clint, this one ain't going to work.
No, that wasn't his thing.
Was he married to who was the woman in like
Sandra Locke?
Yeah, Every Which Way, but
Yeah.
Yeah, they were never married.
Oh, they weren't.
No,
Okay.
they were never married.
She sued the shit out of him, though, when he broke up with her.
Oh.
That was like a crazy story that he was like blocking her film projects. Like she was trying to claim that, and he was like, "What?"
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think he has time to deal with that.
Yeah.
Those kind of
Right.
things.
Well, she had gotten some sort of a deal when they broke up to do like some film projects. It was like part of like the separation deal.
Yeah.
And she was claiming that he was somehow or another blocking them, if I remember the story correctly.
Wow. Yeah. Nothing like a woman scorn.
Look at that. He did.
Hey.
He worked at the
Hey.
pulp mill.
Oh wow. Well,
See
wait,
that?
but that's who are you reading this on? Wikipedia?
Yeah.
I think he did.
Maybe.
Bro.
I'll ask him.
It's
I'll
all
ask
real,
him.
bro.
It's on the internet. It's got to be real.
I think he did.
Hey, look, I don't know if you know about Wikipedia, but this is why I know it's real. Because anyone can enter in information and edit it.
Right.
That's crazy.
So
Yeah.
it's so 100% rock
Right.
solid.
So rock solid.
Because why would anybody put something that wasn't true up there?
I think Wikipedia still says Brian Callen's my brother.
Really?
Somebody might have changed it, but I left it there forever.
Yeah. Well, he's as jacked as you.
He is almost as jacked as me.
Yeah.
It's close.
He was flexing up
Too
yesterday.
close to call.
He does flex like crazy. He's such a silly goose.
Yeah.
That guy's the best to go hunting with. Because for 5 days, like we were, like the last time we went, it was just nothing but jokes, just constant laughter. He's the best at a captive audience.
Yeah.
Like if you're stuck
Well,
in
you
a car
can't go
with
anywhere.
him, yeah.
He's the guy to make a scene.
Well, he's just funny, man. He's like just. I'm not funny that way, the way he is. He's like just a natural
Showman.
clown, silly
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
always silly. And the first time I took him to Montana, like we went hunting with Ranella. Like it was 6 days of gut busting, howling laughter.
Does Steve seems more like dry though? Like
Steve's funny.
Does he?
He's
Oh,
a funny guy too.
Okay.
Especially if he's got a couple pops in him. He's a funny dude. But Callen had this character called the Ravine Comer. And they wouldn't put it anywhere. They wouldn't release the footage, but they filmed it. It was him. He was doing this character of a guy who finds every time he sees a ravine, he has to come. So he runs towards
A
these
ravine?
Yeah, and Callen's like pulling his pants down, and he's like screaming that he's like shooting loads into this ravine. I mean, I'm not doing it any justice because he's like way over the top. It's like, the fucking ravine. Ugh. Like he would just, whenever he'd see like any sort of a valley, he would have to pretend he was jerking off into it. Like, I'm telling you, it seems so ridiculous, but you're
I think
loopy.
everybody's done that before.
Jerked off into a ravine? Oh yeah, of course.
But when you're loopy,
Who hasn't?
you get up at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
It's
I
dark
know.
out. You're freezing. He's the
Yeah,
guy. He's just
yeah.
making everybody laugh.
Yeah, that's what he mentioned.
Hey, there is something weird about that, like in the woods when you're waking up super early or going surfing super early. You're sort of delirious, and you're like, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we putting ourselves through this shit? And then you obviously do your activity or whatever it is, and you're happy you did it, but it's a weird delirium hour.
There's also some weird thoughts that go through your mind when you're sleep deprived that don't ordinarily go through your mind.
Sure.
It's one of the reasons, like some writers on purpose will wait until like really late at night until they write. Like the writers that wrote for News Radio, the sitcom that I used to be on, they would wait until like 2 or 3 in the morning before they started writing. They would just stay up and get silly and joke around.
It
At
is
2 or 3 in the
silly
morning.
and creative. It can be silly.
Some way.
That's
Yeah.
usually when I make a post that I wake up in the morning and read and be like,
Oh, geez.
why did I say that?
I did that the other day. I was in New York. I was sat at a bar, and we were all celebrating sort of we were Fast and Furious stuff. And I wake up in the morning, and there's me screaming, singing Tina Turner at the top of my lungs at a bar. What's love got to do it?
Oh no.
Oh my God.
Oof. Yeah, out of context, that could be a problem.
It's a story.
It was so not part of any of the story. You know, it was just that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you drive in Fast and Furious?
Yeah.
Did you drive for real, or did they how does that work?
No, we don't do a lot of the heavy lifting. The heavy lifting is done by professional stunt guys. You know, it's a big liability.
Right.
First off, you know, and those stunts they do an incredible job of keeping everything in camera, or at least a lot of it. You know, obviously they can't do cars flying over submarines and camera and stuff, but they do a really good job of utilizing the stunt driver's talents and keeping a lot of stuff.
But do you drive at all? Is it ever you driving?
Yeah, you like pull up to a thing, or then do a couple lines or a scene or something. But you're not doing the. You're
not going sideways around a corner.
No,
yeah.
No.
You know what always drives me nuts with those movies? They crush these awesome cars.
Yeah.
Like they take these awesome classic cars and smash them. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
and
they
I always
used
wondered,
700 or something were destroyed in the making of this. 700 cars.
what in the fuck, man? It's like the Dukes of Hazzard. Like one of the biggest bummers about the Dukes of Hazzard is watching these old Chargers slam nose first into the ground and then pretending that thing's okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was some of that jumping off or driving off the snow. What mountain or something? Yeah.
There's some stuff.
And
Spoiler alert.
Still
There's some
the
stuff.
car's fine. But that's funny because you said 700 cars were ruined. I shot an iPhone in slow motion one time, and people were saying how wasteful I was. And I'm like, have you ever seen a movie? I mean, do you not care? That's
Wait,
entertainment.
wasteful of what? Wasteful of what? Gigabytes?
No, I know.
Wasteful of the phone.
I wasted. Somebody could use that phone. Don't you know?
You remember the first?
Oh, you shot in an iPhone. I was shooting in slow mo.
I shot it with an arrow.
Oh yeah. Oh, shot an arrow. Waste of a phone.
Yeah.
We shot some here. We shot some in that back studio for Unbox Therapy.
Yeah,
I set up some iPhones because they came out with some new glass.
Right.
That was back when I had the 90-pound factor too. I blew right through that thing.
And people were like, "That was so wasteful. You could have given that to somebody." And I'm just like, "Oh my."
Someone's got an opinion about everything.
Go watch a
days,
movie.
Yeah.
700 classic cars.
Yeah.
They
weren't. I mean, some are Pintos or whatever. I don't know. You call them classic.
They
might be
weren't
old, but
they weren't all the Vin Diesel driving car.
No.
Okay.
No. How about the shooting? Did you guys actually shoot guns?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, not
there's
live
some where
ammunition, but blank ammunition. That's pretty standard on movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you had some shooting scenes.
Yeah.
Now, I was told that when you do a scene with a gun and blank ammunition, you're still not supposed to point at the actor.
No. I mean, if anyone's got good gun discipline, that's how I grew up. Is good gun discipline. Muzzle down. It's always.
But I mean, like even in a scene where you're shooting at someone with a blank.
Yeah. You want to sort of offset it.
Yeah.
Especially if it's close. I mean, they do testing and stuff first to see, and they'll tell you, hey, you can't pass this line. If you're walking up and you're going to draw a gun on somebody, that we don't want you to go past this line or so. And then, obviously, hey, can you not aim it directly at their head? They'll find a good point for you to aim it at. They can cheat with the camera a little bit.
I'd heard that happened after Brandon Lee got killed in that movie The Crow.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
Yeah. They had real ammo in there, right?
No, there was something was in there.
Piece I think of it. It got. What happens is sometimes even in these airbags, the same sort of stuff. They had all these recall in these airbags. Is what happens is these blanks. Sometimes they'll bunch up together over time if it's an old blank, the gunpowder, so it can harden. Oh. And then it can shoot like a projectile.
Yeah, almost like a couple of shotgun pellets.
Wow. Yeah.
And it just penetrated
that
the right spot and killed him. Yeah.
God.
Crazy. It was a 44 Magnum, I think.
Wow.
So there's a ton of power behind it.
Crazy.
Yeah. That's not good.
Yeah. So now they just point it to the side. And what about fight scenes? Do you have to do fight scenes, especially you having a martial arts background? Do they have you do scenes?
Yeah, I didn't do. There wasn't a terrible amount of fight stuff.
You slammed against a wall.
I get slammed around a little bit in this one, but sure, in other films, I love doing that stuff. That's the fun stuff, especially because you get to hang with some of the coolest guys on sets. All the stunt guys. Mm-hmm. They're all like-minded people. All martial art background guys. And so you're just choreographing all day, working that out, and then you get on set and you're doing it, or you're doing it with them because they might be playing the villain number 7 or something, something. So then you've already sort of got a shorthand with them, and that's the fun stuff.
That's cool.
It's way better than dealing with like a difficult actor or something.
Do you ever do that?
Yeah.
Who's the worst?
Oh, come on. You're not gonna get me. You're not gonna
just
get me.
make their name rhyme or something else.
Just make their name rhyme.
Yeah, like let's,
Yeah, you'll get me in trouble.
like
Loose
Sin
lips sink
Cecil.
ships, guys.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah.
I thought it was torpedoes, but
Nope.
might just be lips.
And loose lips. Yeah, in the scene, The Rock picks him up and slams him, holds him against the wall, and then drops.
Damn.
Yeah.
You get slammed
Was
by
that
a rock?
real? Was that real?
It's real with. It's real with some assistance. There's some movie magic, but he's a big guy. I mean,
if
he's a
it
strong
was
guy,
real, you would have dropped him and choked him out, right?
That dude is so jacked. He took a photo of him after a workout the other day, and I'm like, what? in the
Yeah, he's huge.
He's so disciplined too.
4 a.m.
4 a.m. Man.
Yeah.
Does he like when you're on set with him? Is he just always doing that? Like, what's his deal?
Yeah, he's just extremely disciplined guy. I got a lot of respect for him. He knows what he wants, and he is going to get it. Like he is not. There is no. He is taking it down. He is making movie after movie after movie. He's going to go do it. He's he eats religiously. He's got these meals that come.
Meals.
Which is I love doing meal prep stuff because it's great. It makes his life one less thing to think about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he's very religious with it.
Look at that. Get the fuck out of Dodge.
Look at that. Look at that piece of meat.
He's more jacked now than he's ever been in his life.
Yeah, I think he's 44.
Yeah, 44 or 46 or something.
Yeah.
And just
That's crazy.
uber jacked.
Yeah, he's
and
a stud.
continuing to get more and more jacked.
Yeah, still putting in the work.
Yeah, he's not done getting jacked. He's keeping pumping it.
He's keeping it going.
It's just when you see his schedule and his workload, and then there's always some new project he's doing. He's doing a TV show, and he's doing this, and he's doing that.
I know.
How the fuck does he have time? And he's hosting this award show, and he's like doing something for the troops, and then he's doing this movie, and he's finishing up that movie. And it's like, how?
I tell you, the travel is what kills me. I know you've been in show business for all longer than all of us, and the travel is what kills you, right? These long flights and then jet lag and then you got to go hit the gym. And
Yeah. Well, I did a podcast yesterday. My brain just wouldn't fire right. It takes to me a day or two. I just flew in from Buffalo, and it just takes a day or two for your brain to resync. Today I feel normal, but yesterday I just was foggy.
Well, I haven't tried it, but I keep hearing about what you're supposed to do with the light for the jet lag, because the simulation of light wherever you're at, and they have you're supposed to put on the eye thing when it's supposed to get dark. Say you're flying into the light, you're flying, going away.
All those eye covers.
Yeah, and simulate wherever you want, wherever you're supposed to end up.
Yeah.
And that really is supposed to help with jet lag.
I was reading a podcast about Alaska, about people that hunt in Alaska, and then when you go up there in the summer and you get 2 hours of
a podcast.
Did I say reading a podcast again? What the fuck is wrong with me? Why do I keep saying that?
That's the second time on this podcast.
I've never said it before. Maybe I'm still not really recovered from Buffalo. I'm in denial. Excuse me. I was listening to a podcast where they were talking. This guy was talking about how usually he sleeps like a baby, but he went up to Alaska, and because it's only dark for 2 hours a night in the summer where they were at, and I think they were in the Brooks Range.
Yeah.
And he was saying that after 6 or 7 days, he started getting delusional.
Yeah.
He gets just delirious. You don't
Too
know what
much
the fuck's
light.
going on.
That's that same with that circadian rhythm, is that just the light, because they say the light affects the optic nerves where you're supposed to produce melatonin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this guy
Makes
was
sense.
saying that the way to mitigate that he didn't know at the time, but he was told by someone, is to wear a mask. That those sleeping masks you see in movies, they always look so silly in movies.
Yeah.
But those things are actually effective.
Yeah. Huh.
I've been sloppy about it, but
Fucking Alaska, though, you need it. Have you ever been in the summer?
Oh yeah.
It's awesome,
Yeah,
right?
Many times.
It's
Yeah.
weird, though.
We would hunt. We would bear hunt until I used to go with Roy almost every year. We'd bear hunt until, I want to think, 1 a.m. We'd go back, eat, and then go fishing at
Jesus
3
Christ.
a.m. It was dark for an hour. Then we'd go fishing. Then we'd start baiting again. Then we'd hunt that night. Then we'd do the same thing.
No sleep?
which part of Alaska?
We were, it's like the Susitna River, so it's just north or south central, basically.
Okay.
I've
been up there a few times. Been up to like Seward,
Yeah.
Seward, and then up But I think north where they do like salmon fishing.
Yeah.
And it's where the commercial guys will come in and they'll it's like they net them.
Yeah.
But the tides get so low
Right.
and stuff. They'll drive on the beach with these amphibious boats.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and they'll like lay the net and stuff.
It really
it's
is the
wild
last
up there.
frontier up there.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Too cold though.
Too cold. How dare you? How dare you, San Diego?
Yeah.
I'm a total pussy when it comes to weather.
Well, you lived in Hawaii and now you live in San Diego.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. You're in paradise both times.
Yeah,
Right.
I just you can get anywhere now, right?
San
Yeah.
Diego's one of those places where people in San Diego don't want you telling people how good San Diego is. They're like,
Yeah. They're mad at me. There's 1,000 people screaming right now going,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up.
well, the traffic's already sucks.
Yeah.
It's way worse now than it used to be in San Diego. It used to be way
true.
easier to get around.
It's true.
It's good skydiving. Have you?
I have
you?
jumped. Yep, down there on
Okay.
the border, like El Cajon-ish area.
Where was I? There's like some lake. There's an Olympic Training Center out there. Do you know where that is?
No.
Oh, I can't remember
Not
what the
really.
lake was.
Not
but
really. But people don't realize about San Diego too is like it's a lot of ranch land.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously the coastal area is just a little sliver.
Yeah.
And then you go east and you're right in Rancho Santa Fe in 5 minutes, and it's
Yeah.
just beautiful orange groves, old California. Tons of ranch land, people riding horses.
Goldberg's got a ranch out there.
Oh, really?
Goldberg, the wrestler?
Oh.
Yeah. He's got some badass place out there. He keeps his muscle cars.
I thought Mike Goldberg.
No. Mike Goldberg lives in Phoenix.
My boys, when we were watching UFC the other night, they were like, "Bring Goldberg back."
A lot of people want to bring
miss
him back.
Goldberg.
There was there's a
Goldberg.
survey someone did online where it was like keep John Anik, me, and Dominic Cruz was A, and then Goldberg was B.
Yeah.
And it was like 90% B.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent it to the UFC.
Did you?
Yeah, look at this? What do you think of that? I don't know, man. So,
Goldberg.
I get it. People want change, especially if they own it. You
Yeah.
pay $4 billion
Right.
for something.
Put your signature on something, I guess.
You want to change the color of the car. I bought a
Yeah.
new car. It cost me $4 billion. I'm going to make
Right.
it red. I always wanted
Yeah.
it red.
Yeah.
Are you going to? I was gonna say officiate, but you're not gonna marry them. Are you gonna commentate that fight? Will you be the front runner to be one of the commentators if they do the McGregor
Mayweather thing?
fight?
Most likely no, because it's a boxing match.
Yeah.
Most likely I'll be here watching it on
Right.
on the screen.
I
don't you
can't
think-
wait.
you
I
think
can't
it
wait
will?
for it though.
Yeah.
If it happens.
I mean, I just don't think so. I think I'm not a boxing commentator. I know a lot about boxing. Followed boxing since I was a kid. And I've commentated on kickboxing bouts before, but I've never commentated on a boxing fight before.
It'd be kind of cool though if they had two guys from boxing world and you, because
Maybe.
the two
It'd be
worlds
good.
are
Like they always have
colliding, sort of.
Jim Lampley,
Yeah.
right? Is that who they always have?
And Max Kellerman, who I
Oh
really
yeah,
love.
yeah, Max.
I
He's
love
always
that
in
guy.
there. Yeah.
I would be happy to do a pay-per-view with Max Kellerman. I
Yeah.
think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'm a big
That'd
fan
be
of
cool.
that dude.
It'd be a different perspective just because with McGregor coming out of the UFC.
Or Paulie Malignaggi. He's another one. I really respect that guy a lot too. He's a great commentator and world champion boxer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be maybe but most likely no. Most likely, I'm doing less and less of those. I do 10 a year now. I would used to, the most I'd ever done. I think it was up to like 24 a year. It's just too much, man. Again,
So
traveling.
you're not doing them all now.
No international pay-per-view anymore.
You just said,
None.
"I'm done.
Just
I'm only doing
just
domestic."
no Fox ones anymore, like all those big Fox shows.
Yeah.
I can cut all those out. All I do now is domestic pay-per-view. That's it.
Gotcha.
So it's about 10 a year.
Yeah, the international, man, that just kills you.
Oh, fuck that.
We had fun though. We went to Rio and watched
Yeah.
Ronda.
Yeah.
That was
That's
fun.
cool.
Yeah, Cam came with me down when she fought Betch Correia
Yeah.
in Rio and starched her in the first round.
34
That was a good
seconds.
time. It was fun, but you remember how sketchy it was. I mean, we were driving
Yeah.
around a bulletproof car. We got an armed
Yeah.
guard with us everywhere. It's
Yeah.
it's
Wow.
fucking.
I've been down there. I didn't have any of that. You must be pretty big down
I'm
there.
very important.
I think
extremely important.
I thought it was for me.
It
Because,
could have
you
been.
know,
They're big bow hunting fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they know that you don't pack a piece, so they're like, okay, well.
I
we
was
went to
down
the-
there with Giselle, and she was taking helicopters around.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
To get around. That was
that's the way to do it.
that was the way. We were in Sao Paulo actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. To avoid being carjacked, is that why she took
No,
helicopters?
I think it was just. I mean, I imagine there's some. Maybe I have no idea, but I think it was just avoid traffic.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic in
The
Sao
traffic
Paulo.
is terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
even where we were, the traffic was terrible. There's like one road.
Well, that's Rio. Yeah, we were by the beach. That was a problem. Remember when we got to the fight? It took forever to get to the fight.
Yeah.
They were like, you have to leave 3 hours early. We're like, what?
Yeah.
And then you get in the car. You go, oh, I get it. That was while it was going on. Was while we were talking to Dana Lash on the phone because it was right when Cecil the Bear was happening. That
The lion.
Cecil the excuse me. I was reading about it in a TV show.
You're talking about
about Cecil the kangaroo. That was that thing was going down, man.
Yeah, I remember that. That was good.
That was at the time, but yeah, that was the last time I went to Brazil. I was like, I think I've been to Brazil 5 times.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
enough.
it. I love the Brazilians. I love the food down there.
Yeah, they're
it's
great.
fun. It's great and everything like that.
We were
but-
going to go see Christ the Redeemer. That was our goal, to go do that. Do you know what a process that is to go see that thing?
No, really?
Oh my God, takes forever.
It was like a whole day. You have to take buses halfway, then other buses, and it's just like you cannot just go up there.
Okay, I mean, it's better just getting a helicopter.
It's a pretty dope statue, though.
Oh, it's amazing. I wanted to be there. So we got one from afar. We had it in the background, and we were like,
it's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
It's
I'd
pretty
like
cool
to.
be
I'd
up
like
there.
to fly it. I'm a pilot. I'm a helicopter
Are you really?
pilot. Yeah.
Oh.
No
And
kidding.
yeah. And so I'd like to fly that. That's kind of like, for pilots, it's kind of like, oh, that's a bucket list place. I'd love
Yeah.
to.
Oh,
I'd love
yeah.
to fly, and
Circle
then you have
that.
other places.
Now, how does that work? If you have a license in America and you want to fly in Brazil, obviously you can't fly a helicopter all the way to Brazil.
No.
Well, how far can a helicopter fly? Like, what's the longest distance?
Well, it really just depends on what helicopter you're talking about and how many people you're with. So there's a lot of weight
2
and
people,
balance.
the furthest travel the helicopter's ever gone.
Well, that's probably a Black Hawk, I would imagine. They have dual engines, and they have they're $11 million or $20 million helicopter, whatever it is. It's got massive fuel tanks that a civilian helicopter can't go. So I wouldn't know the answer. But
Find out, Jamie. How far is a Black Hawk? Well, I'm gonna guess. Let's guess.
Okay.
How
Sure,
far
let's
do you think
guess.
they? I bet they can fly for 12 hours.
no way.
No way?
That's a long time.
I don't think so.
I don't-
Bro,
I
this
think-
is
I think I was
American
gonna say, like-
engineering. How dare
I'm
both of
going
you?
to say
5 or 6, but I don't
300 miles.
What?
Yeah.
That's it?
I'm going to say that's.
What if someone's chasing them?
That's
They're
a
almost out of gas.
complete guess. I have no idea.
I would gonna go on Cameron's side.
I'm saying across the ocean 3 times.
No,
back and
no,
forth.
not even close.
If you're
Not even
saying
close.
if you're saying 12 hours, how fast do they go?
Well, it depends. If you're in a piston helicopter, or if you're in a turbine helicopter,
Like a Black Hawk.
Oh, what's the difference?
Well, piston helicopter is like a piston engine.
Uh-huh.
But
Like a car engine.
Yeah, but it uses your blades in the same sort of fashion,
Mm-hmm.
but speed on like a 44, you like 130 knots. I think is your VNE, which is your do not exceed.
2,000 miles. Huh.
Jeez, see, that's-
Distance without landing, 2,213
This is Wikipedia again?
miles. Hey, how dare you? how dare
I see
you?
where you get your information from.
Oh, that's a small helicopter.
No, that's a MD-500. That's not a. That's
But
not
that's not a
a
Black Hawk.
That's not a Black Hawk.
Oh, see, I was
I
talking
need to
about.
But
know.
that's not.
I
I don't
need to
think
know
that's
what a Black
right.
Hawk
That's
is.
not right there.
What do you mean it's not right? It's on Wikipedia. We already discussed this. Anyone can edit this. Of course it's
Anyone
right.
can-
If it was wrong, they would have corrected
So
it.
400 miles an hour, or no, 250 miles per hour. That one goes.
That's pretty amazing. And that's
That's a record.
yeah.
That's a yeah.
But
that's
let's find
that's
out
not
what. See if you can Google a Black Hawk. Google Black Hawk helicopter. What would you Google?
long distance
Distance capability.
distance capability or something.
Distance. Let's see. 276 miles. Wow, that's a lot different.
Hey,
Nautical miles.
Yeah.
300.
What's
That's
a
300,
How's a nautical
exactly.
mile?
Another distance.
151 miles shorter than
Nautical.
other similar rotated aircrafts. Maximum altitude is 6,000 feet.
Top speed 151. So see, they're pretty fast because a turbine helicopter. Well, you can get some civilian ones. The MD-500s are pretty.
What is
fast
that in
helicopter.
when you say knots? What is that in like mile per hour? 151 knots.
What is knots to miles per hour? I would have to check.
Why do they say nautical miles too? What is
Well,
the
nautical
difference?
miles are longer than
so that's
regular
pretty
miles.
close. 1.15
Yeah.
1.15.
Okay, so it's 1.1 mile per hour for every 1 mile an hour, a knot to a mile. So it's more than 150 miles an hour.
300. Or wait,
Yeah,
I thought it was 200 and some.
it said 150 knots, didn't it?
150 knots.
Yeah, so it's 1.1 to each. So
No, 276.
What's that? 151 knots. Top speed comes at 151 knots.
That's
261 nautical miles.
That's the distance.
Yeah.
I typed in distance, and that's the first.
It can
answer.
so it can fly. Oh, I see. So not is it? Would you was this last one knots or miles? You just googled the
This
second
last thing
thing.
was what is knots
Nautical
to
miles?
miles? Yeah, it's just knots to miles.
Well, knots to miles, but not
hour.
nautical miles.
right.
Okay,
It's the
so
same thing though. Not one
Oh, it
nautical
is?
mile per hour. That's what a knot is. It's
Oh.
a nautical mile per hour.
oh, okay. So the speed of knots is the same as nautical miles. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, how interesting.
So-
I wonder why they don't just use miles. Why fucking confuse the shit out of everybody?
It's the same thing
Well,
with
the standard metric system.
Did you know
is
that a
different.
knot and a nautical mile were the same thing?
I just learned that.
I didn't know that.
But it's just like
Did you know that?
Adam putting up Celsius for temperature.
Oh,
I had
Adam Greentree?
Yeah,
He lives in Australia.
I know. I just say nobody knows what Celsius is.
Should he put up American dollars too,
Yeah.
just for Instagram?
Yes.
What do you do with that stupid green money? Your money's the wrong color. Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, it's weird when you go down there too, because everybody
Yeah.
looks normal, and then they start driving on the left-hand side of the road,
Yeah.
and they talk weird.
And the steering wheel's on the wrong side.
It's all fucked up. They don't know
Yeah.
what they're doing.
So they're not normal.
But they are great people. I was just down there for 6 months, and I really do like the Australian people.
That's the second place I would live other than America.
100%.
Number one is Canada. I'd move to Canada first.
You would?
Yeah, if shit
To
went
kill
down.
bear?
To kill fucking everything up there. Moose. Like, I think if it's the nicest people in the world, I think
Oh,
Canadians are the nicest people
sorry.
on earth.
They're always sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry, eh?
Sorry, eh? What's it all about? But so that's like the place I'd live first, other than America. Number
Yeah.
two is Australia. It's like
Yeah.
a close second too, especially Melbourne. I fucking love Melbourne.
Yeah.
Such a
Really?
great,
You like Melbourne better
great
than
city.
Sydney?
I love both of them.
Yeah.
They're both awesome, but
both
Melbourne.
are good.
I just had a great time in Melbourne. Amazing food. The shows we did were amazing. It was
Yeah.
just such a great time.
Yeah.
I really like Sydney. The whole country, man. It's just great, and it's got so much more open space, and
Yeah.
it's just
huge.
yeah.
It's huge for the
population is-
amount of people they have there.
Less
Yeah.
people than in the greater Los Angeles area, and the entire country is the size of the United States.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of country to.
That's one of the reasons why they're so nice. you know?
I do hear though that there's a lot of interesting stuff happening in the desert out there with like nuclear waste that they're allowing them to dump out there.
Oh, they're trying to make some Godzilla type shit. That's what they're doing. That's what I would do.
Yeah,
Let's see what
it's
happens.
crazy.
Some
What?
spots out there with nothing but spiders and crocodiles. Throw some
Nuclear.
uranium out there.
There's some stuff out there that can kill you for sure.
Everything
Oh,
out
yeah,
there.
you
can
know,
kill you.
right? You-
He's
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
He's headed down there soon. I'm super jealous. He's going to do 18 days
Yeah.
hunting water buffaloes and kangaroos and
crazy.
shit.
That's crazy.
You going to shoot a kangaroo?
No.
You allowed to? Are you allowed to hunt kangaroos?
I don't
Yeah,
think.
you are down there.
Can you?
Yeah,
You-
yeah,
they
They
sell
make kangaroo beef
meat.
jerky and stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's supposed to taste good. It's supposed to taste like venison.
What movie were you doing there?
I was shooting Pacific Rim. It was just
Oh,
sort of-
you did that?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was cool. It was
So it's the
kind of like you
remake,
said. It was
right?
like you're creating a Godzilla monster type things, right?
That's a crazy movie, right? Like, how do you act when it's like CGI? What is that like?
I guess I don't know what it is. What is it?
Pacific Rim's a monster movie.
Oh,
got
is
some
it?
Shit grows in the ground
Oh,
and comes
okay.
out and
Yeah.
fucks everybody up.
It's kind of like the dinosaurs, but in the
Yeah.
future. It's like
Oh.
if the dinosaurs came back.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of
Okay.
cool. It's a very cool concept.
Cam's a
Guillermo del Toro.
no-nonsense guy. You throw Godzilla past him, his eyes roll back in his head. It's like, bitch, I ran 205 miles. I got no time for fucking monsters.
I got no time for monsters.
I'm a bow hunter. I got no time for fake monsters.
That's
I
what
hunt bears.
That's what I told Scott yesterday. Is like, you know a lot about a lot. I said I know sort of a lot about two things: running and bow hunting. Anything else, I don't know.
I don't know shit
anything.
about shit, man.
I know a lot. I know a lot about two things. I know enough to pretend I know a lot about everything else. If you ask me about martial arts or comedy, I can give you some long ass answers,
Yeah.
and I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But you get into other area, I'm like, I better Google. Jamie,
Yeah, Jamie.
Jamie, where are you?
Yeah, geez.
I just need Jamie to follow me around.
Exactly. Dude, no one's better at Jamie than pulling shit up. Well, you're in the middle of going, wait a minute, is that right? And then all of a sudden, boink, pops up on the
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's an invaluable resource. That makes me look so much smarter than I really am. There's no way you can know everything about everything. And anybody who claims to is an asshole. This is
Yeah.
just, It's not possible.
Well, how much information can your brain even take, right? I mean,
good question.
You know, they say I've heard several times now that you're only supposed to be able to really recognize 150 people.
Yeah.
Right? Or something like that where it's...
Yeah, they think you can have relationships with 150 people.
Right.
Which is a lot of guys are super psyched about that. They're like, yes, forget this one thing. Woo, 150. This is great. It's called Dunbar's number.
Yeah.
Dunbar's number, you keep 150 people in your head that we have friendships with. It's very strange. And the idea is that our brain was designed to absorb the names and faces of people that are in our tribe. And then when tribes get over 150 people, they're essentially unmanageable.
I believe it.
I believe it too. I think it goes back to what we were talking about when we were saying that people aren't designed for cities. They're not designed for this life and for televisions and lights that you just switch on and off. That we're really designed to. This is the reason why you feel so content when you're in the mountains. Is that your body's designed for that, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for hunting. So sorry, anti-hunting psychos.
Poor people.
I hate the city.
The anti-hunting people. They get food easy. It's easy to get food. If it wasn't, they would turn. They would fucking listen to me, you fucks, all of you. You would shoot a rabbit right in the face if you were starving and your kids were crying.
Guaranteed.
If it all gets ugly, you become a predator.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Well, because animals are going to hunt you too, fuckface. Guess what? Yeah. You're out there in the woods by yourself and you're making a lean-to and you have to fight the coyote that's trying to drag your kid off in the middle of the night. Yeah, that coyote gets roasted over an open fire.
Yeah, with a big smile on your face.
It happens.
Yeah, Brendan put up a picture of the grizzly I killed up on his page yesterday. Oh my God.
The tsunami of butthurt.
He had to
unimaginable.
He had to text me and tell me sorry about all the hate. And I'm like, I said, dude, I just told him, hey, you got to take the good with the bad. I said, this is all part of the deal.
It's interesting that people, they don't understand. Like, here's my favorite one ever. When you were talking about bear hunting, and like you were saying, that the bear populations have to be controlled, and the woman on the show was like, "That's because you've killed off all their predators." Like, what are you talking about, dinosaurs, bitch?
Yeah.
What the hell is killing a grizzly bear? Are you crazy? The only thing that kills grizzly bears is other grizzly bears.
Yeah.
Unless you want to have a grizzly bear cannibal apocalypse going on up there, you got to control their numbers.
Yeah. I know, and that's I told Brendan that too. I said, listen, these people just don't realize that if the grizzlies, the brown bears up there, where you can kill 2 a year because there's so many of them, that if we didn't control them, there'd be no moose.
There'd be no deer. There'd be a lot of animals,
especially the moose. They just focus on those moose when the calves are dropping, and so those follow the pregnant, female around and eat the calf when it drops. And without us controlling them, those would be gone.
Yeah, 100%.
Sort of like similar with I don't know exactly the numbers or anything about great white sharks, right? Everyone's protected those for so long that then that will start screwing up the cycle, because then the tuna. So I'm gonna get this wrong, but the tuna population, because we're taking all the tuna population, right? Everyone's so psycho over tuna and raw fish, right?
Yeah.
So then, and we're protecting all the great white sharks and some of the other sharks. We've just completely off-balanced the situation, because that's what they eat.
I'm sure. Well, anytime people intervene in the natural world and step in and protect
like a big
one thing and not the others.
And we have to intervene.
Sometimes.
I mean, we can't. Animals, they just don't manage themselves.
What I mean by intervene is like what they did in Australia, where they brought over feral cats to control the rats and rabbits, and then they start eating the ground nesting birds. So they bring in foxes to try to kill the cats, and then the foxes kill everything but the cats. And Jesus Christ!
Right.
So why did they bring the cats in?
It's a long story, but they brought in rabbits in Australia, and the rabbit population got out of control. And then they brought in cats to deal with the rabbits, but the cats didn't just eat the rabbits. They also started decimating the ground nesting birds and all the other local rodents. And then they brought in other things to deal with the cats. And now hunters are Australia's weird.
No,
like they're hunting magazines.
Water buffalo are not from there.
That's true too.
They're from Asia.
Everything in Australia, all the stags and
crocodiles. I haven't heard, right? They're like some of the big American crocodile were introduced.
I'm not
from
sure
America.
about that.
What? No, I think they're from Australia. I don't know about that.
Those saltwater crocs are huge.
Yeah, they're a bigger crocodile than American.
I'm thinking alligator. American alligator. Which
Over
is
there?
down
Do they have alligators in Australia?
I believe so.
I don't know.
That's
I don't know
what
that
I
either.
read in the.
I'm not sure about that, but I do know that they show cats in their hunting magazines.
Yeah.
Their hunting magazines, dudes hold up cats like, I got one, mate. Like,
Yeah.
and they think it's cool. But it's the same as in America. If you killed like a coyote that's killing all the neighborhood pets,
Yeah.
people would like shoot it with a bow and arrow and then take a picture of it and they'd be happy. Yeah, good. You got that fucking kitty cat eating coyote. But that's how these people are in Australia with the cats. I mean, it's
Yeah.
all just culturally relative.
It
like,
is. It's no different. When we were there last time I was there, had this big white stallion, a Bromby is what it's just a horse.
Yep.
Coming, and Adam's telling me, he's like, oh man, that's a trophy. You should kill that thing. And I'm like,
What?
I can't kill a freaking horse, dude. And it's like, but it's a Bromby. I mean, so and it was by itself. It looked awesome. It comes all the way up. I'm praying it would go somewhere else. No, it comes 20 yards.
Wow.
And I'm like, I couldn't do it. But
Good
and
for
that's
you.
That's just because where we grow up, where we live.
Sure, you're conditioned to
To them,
horses.
to them, that's just that's something
Neat.
to hunt.
It's me.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
I ate at Joe Beef in Montreal, the restaurant. It's
Yeah.
a great restaurant in Montreal, and they serve horse. They served. They had horse loin, and they also served horse tartare. So it was like raw
Yeah.
horse and horse loin, and we were like, ooh, because it's an amazing restaurant, but they're like super creative with their
Yeah.
dishes.
Uh-huh.
And both times I was there, they gave us horse.
No, I can't do horse. I like horses.
It was one of the biggest problems we ever had on Fear Factor. We made people
Horse?
eat horse rectum.
Ooh,
No ways.
Yes.
I remember that. Oh my god, I remember that show, but I don't remember the horse rectum.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
huge. People were furious.
I'm not so sure it was.
And
Yeah.
that was the stop.
Because
That's
it
where
was
they end.
not because it was rectum, because it was
it's horse. Yeah. Pig rectum was fine. Not a peep out of people. Nobody said a damn thing. But horse rectum was a huge issue.
Hey, you want
Yeah.
to cause more problems? How about bear rectum?
Yeah. You wouldn't want that.
No.
Bear. Yeah. Why is horse better? I don't know.
Did that show just fizzle out because you were done with it, or was it?
No, it fizzled out the first time because it just did 148 episodes and it was just enough was enough. And it never really got canceled. We just kind of stopped doing it.
Yeah.
And everybody was done. We're like, oh, let's just fucking stop.
Yeah.
And we walked away from it. And then several years later, it came back and we did 6 episodes. And it was canceled because we made people drink cum.
What?
We made them drink donkey cum and donkey urine.
Oh my.
Nobody had a
God.
problem with the urine, oddly enough. Really, it's like relatively normal comparison to the cum, but that was it.
Oh my God.
TMZ got a hold of some of the photos, some leaked photos
Oh my
of the donkey cum
God.
episode and put it up there.
What did you call it?
I do not remember. I think I think we
Semen?
said sperm. I think
Oh,
we said sperm or semen or whatever the fuck we said.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
And that was the people.
That was it.
The studio.
But people did it, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
all
my
3 of them did it. All 3 of them did it. Yeah, it was Enoch. You got to get out of here, don't you? You got to go to Conan.
Yeah,
Are you leaving soon?
Yeah. Pretty soon.
All right. When does let's get away from drinking cum.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is troubling. Even to me.
Yeah.
But I'm one of the very few people in Hollywood or anywhere in the world that can say I lost a job because people had to drink cum on TV.
Yeah, that's true.
It's true.
What's hilarious is that NBC said yes to that.
Yeah.
That was all signed off.
That got passed
Yeah.
through whatever. QC.
Lawyers, yeah, quality control.
Yeah, it looks good.
A lot of people,
Everybody's like,
a lot of certain, kind of genders drink cum all the time.
Both genders. Depends on
my.
who the people are.
I
Oh,
thought we
yeah,
were
yeah.
switching.
I wanted to. He brought me back in.
I saw
Fucking
you.
Clint
lobbed
Eastwood's
it, you
kid.
lobbed it up.
The Fate of the Furious, April
we go.
14th. That's when it comes out.
April 14th, this Friday.
Are Vin Diesel and The Rock at odds in this photo? I can't tell. It seems like there perhaps could be
was
some
that
tension.
fake news that I read, or was that
man.
real?
Yeah, it's all just don't believe
Don't believe the
anything
hype.
you
Oh,
read
okay.
on the internet,
I heard
including
there's
Wikipedia.
some real issues with those two. The 2 alphas colliding on the set. And Vin Diesel wouldn't take off his sunglasses even at night. It was so strange.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Fucking dope cars though, man. Dude, so
He took off his necklace, so pay attention to that.
what kind of cars they have in this episode? Oh, was that a Charger with the flared fenders?
Yeah, you got like sort of souped up Charger there. You got a Subaru,
look at that Charger. That sucker was on display somewhere, right? That Charger? Is it on display somewhere?
It might have been. I mean, it's one of the hero cars in the film.
That's a fucking insane car. Like that's, oh my God.
It's pretty sexy, right?
That looks good.
Yeah.
There's something about
amazing.
those American cars from the late 60s, early 70s. You just can't get anything like that.
Sexy.
Yeah.
God, they're amazing.
Yeah.
That one's got a custom grill too. Look at
Yeah.
that grill on that sucker. Whoa.
No Ram truck, huh?
No. Cam's a fan of the Ram trucks.
It's okay.
I
like
really
trucks.
likes those.
Yeah.
I do too. But they just don't. There's something about, you can't get a Ram truck with a supercharger popping out of the hood like that.
Sure.
Big old blower.
See, look, they're fighting. Oh no, that's Jason Statham. Never mind.
Oh, Jason Statham's fighting who?
Rock.
Something. I don't think that's the Rock.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
Is that the Rock?
Yeah,
Why is he
that's
so
The Rock,
brown?
yeah. Well,
They're pretending he's black.
he's got baby oil on, and
that what it Jason Statham, I would have to pull him aside and go, "Hey, run!
Yeah.
Look at me! Run the other way."
But he fights, right?
Yeah,
Is he?
he's got a martial arts background
Oh,
for
okay.
sure.
Yeah.
Legit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
Jason Statham can fight for sure, but still run.
Hey, look at that.
The Rock's fucking. Look at that handsome
guy.
bastard. Jesus Christ! Look at the features on that guy. Like a young Clint Eastwood.
Fuck you.
Hey, how dare you? Give
the
me a
high
compliment.
cheekbones.
He's a handsome fella. I don't understand why he's so upset. He's angry. A lot of those Hollywood guys are angry. I don't know why. It's like a. So, what's next for you? Like, what do you got going on after this? Anything
no,
scheduled?
I'm not. I'm gonna take some time off. I'm gonna see my father
And bow hunt. Come on, son.
I'm gonna get
Coming to
hopefully I
Hawaii.
can get, Hawaii or something.
If you come to
Do some
Hawaii,
fun
Cam will
things.
go to Hawaii. Come
He's
on.
get him. He's
Bring the
gonna go.
girlfriend.
He's gonna go kill bears.
Oh.
No, I'm not gonna do that. Don't say that live.
Oh.
Oh, is that what it is?
say
I'm
that.
sorry.
Hollywood.
He's not.
Hollywood.
I meant he's not going to kill bears under any circumstance.
What he's going to do is shoot over their head and then take a picture of it. So,
Right. No, he's going
Could've
to
got
try
you,
to
bitch.
scare him off so I can't kill him. Right.
nice. And let them know where the moose babies are.
Right.
All those
Yeah.
cunty little
I'll
moose
come and
babies
save
that you
them.
love to eat. Go get them. Go get them. Nice, sweet, friendly bear.
Cunty
Go eat
moose
those
babies.
those
That's
babies, those moose babies. You don't
Yeah.
need moose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So yeah, would you not hunt bear because of the blowback?
Look, hunting anything I'll eat. I never say never. But
I eat bear.
Yeah, you can eat bear.
Bear sausage is good,
Sure.
man. I'm telling you, like black bear in
yeah,
particular.
I
Yeah.
bet.
People say it doesn't taste good.
We,
Does
hey,
I
we
bet.
we
You-
have
you
some
shoot it. You eat it. So,
up there
I mean,
with the rivets. We have some amazing bear meat
Yeah.
dishes. I mean,
Dude.
it's just it's like you'd think it was the best steak ever.
I
well,
bet.
the stir fry that Jen makes,
Yeah.
that
That's what I'm
stir
talking
fry is
about.
amazing.
Yeah.
Sausages, I have a bear summer sausage that's amazing. Bear regular sausage, Italian sweet sausage
Yeah.
with bear. It's fucking good, man.
Yeah. I bet.
And people just are, they
He's
think
not buying it. Look at him.
No.
He's like, I'm not shooting a bear, bitch.
that's wait till this
The
goes.
publicist is
wait
losing her mind somewhere.
wait
think
till
so? That's why we didn't
wait
let
till
her
we're
in.
off air.
Yeah. Wait till we're off air. Yeah. But is that why? Because you would hunt anything to eat, and you wouldn't hunt that because you wouldn't eat it.
Well, no, I never had bear. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe it's I'll have some of your bear sausage, and
Okay.
I'll say, shit.
I'll give you some
All
for
right.
real. It really is good, man. And it's the thing is, it's also an important tool for conservation because they really do need to keep those populations down,
hell,
especially in
sure. Yeah.
Alberta.
Yeah, tons of bear up there.
People think that like I go outside, I don't see any bear. Bear populations are so diminished.
Yeah.
because you're not where they are. If
That's-
you go where they are, they're goddamn everywhere.
That's what I said. I go, yeah, you're not going to see a grizzly at Starbucks, but hey, go up to Alaska, you're going to see plenty, and they need to be managed.
Jamie played that video of that guy that's sitting. He's a photographer, and he's by a river.
Yeah.
And the bear
bear
wanders
sitting-
up to him.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
they pan out to the rest of the river, and you see like a dozen grizzlies
Yeah.
wandering through this river, jacking all these salmon.
Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You imagine you're sitting there, this thing just pulls up within 15 feet of you. Like
Yeah.
you are only alive because it chooses not to eat you because it's got a belly full of salmon. So this guy is sitting there. This bear he has to chase it off. He has to yell at it. I mean, it's
my God.
feet away from him and easily
terrifying.
1,000 pounds. It's an enormous bear, right?
Yeah, and if
And look at that.
Right. If
Look at
it
all those
decides
bears.
to kill you, I mean, it's not like you can look at a bear and tell. It's not like a dog with a wagging tail.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know. That bear could think, I just don't feel like killing you. Next time, okay, yeah, I'll kill you. I mean, there's no difference.
Our big bear family, best buddies.
Yeah.
People
People see this stuff and they think, you know,
bears are our friends.
Yeah.
Well, that's the one guy who was the bear guy who
them.
got up there, who was
Grizzly
going up there,
man.
right?
Yeah.
The grizzly man, and he finally got
Treadway.
eaten, right?
Yeah, Timothy Treadwell. Did you ever see that documentary?
The grizzly man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Anybody
Yeah.
listen to this who hasn't seen it?
Yeah.
This is what you do. You smoke some of that devil's cabbage and you sit in front of the old Netflix and you watch Grizzly Man because it is a goddamn unintentional comedy.
Yeah.
Unintentional.
It
is
really
right.
is. It's an unintentional comedy. There's so many comedic beats in that movie. I was supposed to interview Werner Herzog. He was on a tour last summer, and his past didn't work out, and we never wound up doing the podcast together. But that was the first thing I was going to ask him. I was like, "Come on, did you intentionally put comedic beats into that movie?" Because there's this one part where like there's a sheriff. He goes, "I thought he was retarded."
I remember that.
I thought he was retarded.
in the theater, falling down laughing.
Yeah.
Like, ah! He thought he was retarded because after the guy got eaten by the bear, because he was up there like way
All the
past
time.
when you're supposed to be up there too.
Yeah.
He was out there past.
He was friends.
Yeah, they were friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's one scene. This is Mrs. Chocolate. Oh, this is her poop. It's right here. This came out of her butt. And he's
Oh
like
my
picking it up.
God.
He's like, it's still warm. It's
Yeah.
still warm because it was inside of her.
And that's just a good example of the bear might not kill you just because they don't feel like it.
Yeah.
But when they feel like it, it's over.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
over,
I
bitch.
mean,
Oh, man.
Not a goddamn thing you're gonna do about that. Not a goddamn thing.
no,
Yeah.
they're a wild animal. It's just like it's even the bears that we hunt up in Alberta. I mean, you don't know. I mean, they could decide they're wild animals at any. There's all different kinds. There's aggressive bears. There's shy bears. There's bears that you can't really get a read on. But it's just like a dog.
Sure.
I mean, you don't know. They're good and bad bears. So it's just the wrong one.
Yeah, they're like all animals have different personalities.
Yeah.
Like cats, dogs,
Yeah.
domestic animals have weird personalities. Wild
just-
animals do too.
It's just most of them can't kill you, but
Yeah.
bears can. So
All
I
of
mean,
them
that's,
can, yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah. So you're not interested in that. What about eagles? You ever interested in cooking up an eagle? Oh,
Some eagle
eagles on a
balls.
spit.
Give me some eagle balls.
Rotisserie
Ooh, yeah.
eagle.
Nothing like a pair of eagle balls.
Do eagles have balls? I know that they're male and female, but do they have testicles? Look that up.
That's important. That's important.
Is there a bucket list hunt that you'd like to go on, like maybe an elk hunt in the Rocky Mountains?
Yeah, that'd be
That'd be awesome,
I'd
huh?
love to tag along and do one of those if I can.
Yeah, there's well, you know, if you ever do get to Australia, like they have stag over there
Yeah.
that are a lot like elk,
Elk.
and they roar. You ever heard them roar? Oh, dude, they sound like a lion. It's like, you've heard it in real life?
No, I
Stag
haven't.
roars?
No.
They're like, roar.
Yeah.
They roar. It's a crazy sound. Jamie will find it for us.
We've had some good elk hunts, so
Yeah,
Joe and I.
We have.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's an elk back there. I'll show you in the back that we got just this past fall. Fucking huge thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It was
a
so awesome.
Massive animal. And I've got food back there if you want some. You want some elk? I'll give you some. Take
Sure.
it with you.
Hell yeah.
Because you're headed back tonight, right?
Yeah. After Conan, we gotta go do that.
Is that a stag?
No.
It's a Rocky Mountain elk bugling. We've heard that before. But go see red stag roar. Try Google red.
There you go.
There it is. Yeah, listen to this thing. It's crazy. Look at his face. First of all, look at those goddamn antlers. Listen to it.
That's high fence.
Here it goes. What? Look at his dick.
Yeah, he's
Just
horny.
flopping.
He's
Yeah,
horny,
you
yeah.
think? Look at that rocket. The big old red lipstick rocket. Imagine if men did that. Ladies, you're so lucky.
Is he bringing in the female?
But
There, or are
look,
they trying to?
He's trying to call him. Yeah.
See that quartering too?
Yeah.
My Hoyt Turbo would pound right through that shoulder.
Ooh.
We'd take that shot.
Would you take that shot? Now, where would
Yeah,
you go?
with-
Right through the shoulder?
Right here.
Point to the spot. Right there. Just right through it. Yeah, it would go right through it. Cam's shooting the most ridiculously powerful setup. We were practicing today, and it's just so evident that these heavy arrows, so much momentum. You're at 687 grains. Is that what that is?
Yep.
Which is, by the way, you know, we were talking grams before, and we meant to say grains, and then we were converting grams to marijuana, and calculations just don't mix. We were doing this a long time ago on a podcast, and then I was driving home, and I was like, Jesus Christ, do we say grams when I meant grains? And then we were trying to figure out how many grams were in an ounce, and they were determining that it was a pound. Like 500 grams is like a pound.
Okay.
And I'm like, but an arrow's not a pound. Like, whatever. And we just kept talking about something else. And then it took me a while to like figure it out. It's like saying I was reading a podcast. You know? But his setup is just preposterous. It's unbelievable horsepower. Today, man.
Yeah, shooting good, hitting
Turbo
hard.
80. That thing's pretty cool.
No,
but if
not
you're
80.
ever...
Right?
No.
Can't be 80.
It's not possible.
That's-
We'll talk later. We'll talk later.
That's a trade secret.
Engineers.
Yeah. I remember you told me. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. We'll talk later.
But yeah, we have our buddy Adam that we were talking about before that lives in Australia. And when Cam goes over there, you're going to be hunting stag over there, right?
Yep, stag, buffalo, and fallow.
And stag's just like an elk. I mean, it's essentially a real similar animal.
A little smaller. Yeah, but that's that right there.
Buffalo, though. The buffalo. There's a video of him over there hunting a water buffalo from 40 yards, and he's creeping up. See if you find that video. It's one of my favorite.
Did you ever read
ever.
that book, The Last American Buffalo?
Ranella's book.
Yeah.
You know, I've read part of it. I haven't finished it, but I started it, and then I put it down, and I never went back to it.
As you get, it's sort of the first half is a little funky. It's clunky. But the
Shitty
second half,
writing? Is that what you're saying? I'll call Steve right now. You
I
know,
did not
Clint
say
Eastwood
that.
kid thinks you're a cunt. Hey, he was talking all kinds of shit about.
What I mean is, the later
That's how
half
rumors
I
get
really
started.
enjoy.
He likes to talk about drinking jizz. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. He wouldn't shut
He
up.
brought it back.
He wouldn't shut up about that.
Drank some elk jizz.
We had moved on. He insisted on. He said something about Vin Diesel
It was
sunglasses.
one time.
He doesn't like L.A. He lives in San Diego, and so this is Cam sneaking up on this water buffalo, and every time it picks up its eyes or it might have caught movement, he has to pause.
Yeah.
So this is like a ridiculously slow trek.
I think I think it's still a little bit before I shoot.
Yeah,
Or
it
wait,
is.
no. It's getting closer. So I got my rangefinder there, so I can quickly get it because I'm getting closer every time.
Cam, what do you think about range finding binos?
Stop, head up, don't move.
Don't move at all. If it's coming at you, do you hide behind that little tree? What do you do?
I just wrestle it down.
Oh, like a man.
Stab
grab
stabbed
it
it.
by that rocket and give it what it needs.
What the guy you had on your podcast? Said
Yeah.
you take down a wolf. What was that guy?
Oh, Dan Pena?
Dan Pena.
Yeah, he would just stab it in the dick over and over again.
Stab it right in the dick.
So he's creeping up. Cam, what are your thoughts on range finding binos? Do you ever use those?
I don't have any.
Would you? I mean, like, I know, like, there's some companies that make some that bow hunters use, like Leica. Leica has one that apparently has a button on the right-hand side, so you can range and shoot with one hand.
This is Adam. I
Adam
don't know
just
what
saw
he's filming.
chipmunk.
Yeah.
Mate, that chipmunk would be a trophy.
Here's a good illustration of having I don't know what I'm trying to promote here, but a hard hitting arrow. Because if you watch when I shoot this buffalo, the arrow arcs up and actually hits the branch, and ricochets, and still kills that buffalo.
Wow.
Watch this. It's gonna hit. I think it's this right here. It's gonna ricochet off that and still kill this big bastard.
Wow.
It's sort of deceptive here. How many yards are you out?
It's gonna be like 40.
Yeah, it looks like he's like 10 feet in front of him, right?
Yeah.
You can.
It's because it's fucking huge.
Should I skip ahead a little bit?
Big.
Yeah.
Skip ahead a wee bit, lad. Okay, back up, because it looks like you already shot it. Yeah, back up.
Oh,
Yeah, back up.
so you can see.
Great.
Like, here it is.
Okay, watch this. See that?
Oh, it kind of touched it almost.
hit
just
that.
barely grazed it.
Yeah, but it affected the flight, but still went and pounded in here, and that's right where you want to. That's right into the heart. That's where their heart is.
Do you think you would have got more penetration if it didn't graze that branch?
Oh yeah, for sure. But still, that was a 90-pound bow.
Yeah, and it's going in 6 inches deep into the heart.
Yeah, probably more than that because those are. I mean, that shoulder is.
Right.
I mean, it's in probably 18 inches.
And that
But,
thing
yeah.
is like, what just happened?
No,
to
it doesn't
me?
know. It just it runs into that thing.
What's really crazy is that Cam was saying that he chewed a piece of meat from that animal. It was so tough and so strong. You chewed it for a whole half hour, one piece?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like shoe leather. Because this is an old bull.
It's a tank.
These things are, I don't know, 1,800 pounds. So you have to shoot heavy stuff.
So do you think you're going to be doing that from now on? You're going to be going to a heavier arrow?
I
Or
don't
in the
know.
range, maybe?
We'll see.
Possibility?
We'll see.
See how this week or this trip works?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do we get you out, Scott? What do we do? How do we get you out there bow hunting with Cam? What's the animal?
I'll go on an elk hunt for sure.
An elk hunt?
I'll go on a deer hunt with you in Maui, or wherever you're going in Hawaii, Lanai.
Cam, let's do it. Get Under Armour on board. We'll all wear the clothes and
Springfield
smile.
Utility Board. Could you fire me today immediately, please?
Just quit. You got to quit.
They don't know you probably here.
I'm at work right now.
You're at work right now.
It's
Yeah.
punching in.
Oh, you're screwed.
All I have to do is a couple of tweets to help the power business.
Yeah.
So we should do
Yeah.
that though, right?
Yeah.
We should all do that. Would be fun.
For sure.
All right. Well, Fast and Furious 8. It's at April 18th. Is the premiere? Is that what it is? 14th?
April 14th.
14th. April 14th is
I'm
the
in
premiere.
charge of that.
Listen, brother,
It's Friday.
It's really fucking cool talking to you, man. I really
Pleasure.
enjoyed it. It was
Yeah,
fun.
definitely.
Cam, always a pleasure.
Thank you.
And we're gonna go run, and I'm gonna cry. So enjoy Conan. You can watch Scott tonight. We'll see you soon. Bye.